From the Nationwide News Network. Comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, King's Counsel Valerie Nita Robertson questions the credibility of Keith Clark's widow during cross-examination today.
The JLP's Colonel Charles Jr. has more questions for PNP President Mark Golding as row intensifies over his British citizenship.
So there is no room, there cannot be divided loyalties.
Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency says there's been no breach of its internal systems amid questions about Mark Golding's travel history.
The government says it hasn't made a decision on banning corporal punishment in homes.
The BOJ says the country would have to face double-digit interest rates if it were called on to maintain inflation below 4%.
Central bank would have to raise interest rates to double digits to contain inflation below 4%.
In news from the rest of the world, Antiguan Prime Minister blasts empty climate promises at Small Island Summit.
Israeli Prime Minister labels deadly strike which killed Palestinians on Sunday a tragic mistake.
In headline sports, Australia to use members of their coaching staff to field in World Cup warm-up game against West Indies on Thursday.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, the issue of dual citizenship for parliamentarians has again been brought to the fore in light of opposition leader Mark Golding's British citizenship. The last time the matter was raised was in the aftermath of the September 2007 general elections. Section 40 of the country's constitution came in for close attention. One of the men at the center of that legal showdown was Abe Dabdoob. He'll join us.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, should parents be punished for beating their children? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, what's the impact of corporal punishment on children? Does it mold disciplined citizens or leave them as broken adults? We'll hear from a psychologist. All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90FM, Nationwide Radio JM.com, and on the Nationwide app available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, May 27, 2024.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
4 minutes after 5.
Listen to Nationwide 90 FM on 90.1,
90.3,
90.7,
90.9.
or visit our Flow channel on a 916. To our valued listeners, for questions, comments, or concerns about our programs, email us at programs@nationwidenewsnetwork.com.
And now to the details. King's Counsel Valerie Nita Robertson took aim at the credibility of the widow of businessman Keith Clark during cross-examination in the Supreme Court on Monday. 14 years ago today, May 27, Dr. Claudette Clark witnessed her husband being shot and killed during a military operation at their Kirkland Heights home in St. Andrew. 3 soldiers, Lance Corporal Greg Tingling, Corporal Odell Buckley, and Private Arnold Henry, are accused of Clark's murder. Dr. Clark, who is the prosecution's key witness in the ongoing trial, became perturbed by a series of questions from the defense about the day her husband was killed. Robianne Williams has more in this report.
On Monday, Dr. Claudette Clark repeatedly stated that the incident in which her husband was killed happened a long time ago, so she wasn't able to recall everything. This was her answer to some of the questions posed to her by defense attorney King's Counsel Valerie Nita Robertson. Throughout the cross-examination, Dr. Clark had to be shown her statements and other documents which she previously signed as evidence in the matter. At one point, Dr. Clark told the court that she's over 65 years old. She further stated that it was a difficult time for her. Her husband was shot and killed on May 27, 2010 during a military operation in search of the now convicted drug lord Christopher Dudus Coke. Casey Nita Robertson asked Dr. Clark if she's aware that harboring wanted men is an offense. Dr. Clark answered, quote, "I'm aware, but I'm wondering why I wasn't arrested because I was in the house as well." End quote. Casey Nita Robertson further asked, "Were you and your husband harboring Dudus at your house?" To this, Dr. Clark responded, "No, madam. I do not know him. I've never met him. He was never there at any time." Casey Nita Robertson suggested that Dudus and 7 other men were being kept in the basement of the house. To that suggestion, Dr. Clark said, "You can suggest, but it was not true. There was no one in my basement that night." She was then asked if she was aware that a bullet from her husband's licensed firearm was taken from the foot of one of the soldiers on trial. Dr. Clark answered, "No, madam, I wasn't aware." Dr. Clark also told the court that she was unaware that 4 soldiers were shot during the operation. Casey Nita Robertson suggested that gunshots were being fired from the ground on the helicopter that was hovering in the vicinity of the Clark's house. In response, Dr. Clark said she wasn't aware of that. The trial will resume on Tuesday morning at 10. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
Member of Parliament for South East Clarendon, Pernell Charles Jr. is calling on Opposition Leader Mark Golding to answer what he's describing as serious questions regarding his dual citizenship. In a statement on Monday, the Labour and Social Security Minister says Mark Golding has shown a reluctance to fully commit to Jamaica. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
As the furor surrounding Opposition Leader Mark Golding's British citizenship continues, another GLP MP and Cabinet Minister is weighing in. Mr. Charles Jr. is insisting that the PNP President explain a series of misleading statements he made concerning what he dubs the split loyalty fiasco.
For an aspiring head of government in Jamaica to now be embroiled in this fiasco that has led to questions challenging his commitment to our country is an indictment. It is a very serious problem. And one of the questions that he must answer is why did you elect to apply for a UK visitor's visa in circumstances where you know that you're a British citizen and the holder of a British passport, whether that passport is valid or expired. If it is expired, you would simply go and renew your passport. The country requires absolute clarity.
The South East Clarendon MP says the PNP President should also indicate why it took him so long to publicly confirm his citizenship status. Mr. Charles Jr. says the country should also be told when Mr. Golding first acquired a Jamaican passport, when he first applied for a US visitor's visa, and when he first applied for a UK visitor's visa.
These matters are critical for us to understand the motive, the intention, the character of someone who is seeking to serve. Now, if you say that you are a British citizen, but you have completed and now have a UK visa in a Jamaican passport, what then did you put in that section when you applied for the UK visa that asks for you to declare the country of your citizenship? Did you admit then that you are a British citizen in your visa application? When did you last renew your British passport?
Mr. Charles Jr. says the opposition leader during an interview a few months ago specifically mentioned having a British passport as a child and indicated that he did not maintain it. He's calling on Mr. Golding to respond to suggestions that he misled Jamaicans by not admitting that he still had a British passport as an adult. He says the impression was given that Mr. Golding only held a Jamaican passport and traveled using visitors' visas for the US and United Kingdom. Mr. Charles Jr. asks Mr. Golding if he will renounce his British citizenship and resign. He believes the opposition leader is reluctant to commit to Jamaica and has lost the trust of the Jamaican people.
Let me just emphasize how important the position of opposition leader is in constitutional arrangements of our country. The opposition leader is not an ordinary MP. The opposition leader is called upon for their consultation when it comes on to several significant positions in Jamaica. So there is no room, there cannot be divided loyalties.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
The Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, says no breach of their internal systems has occurred. This follows accusations by opposition spokesperson on information Nikisha Burchell that Western Portland MP Darrell Vaz committed a privacy breach when he revealed information about opposition leader Mark Golding's passport. Speaking at a media briefing at the office of the Prime Minister last week, Minister with responsibility for information Dr. Dana Morris Dixon denied the claims that Mr. Vaz had committed a breach. PICA says it has not violated any data protection regulations, adding that it maintains the highest information security standards. It says the concerns raised about a potential privacy breach are unfounded. PICA says it is fully committed to upholding the highest ethical standards when handling the personal data of Jamaica's citizens. The agency says it will remain transparent and accountable to ensure the public's trust in its ability to protect their data.
The youth arm of the Jamaica Labour Party, Young Jamaica, says it's disappointed by a social media post from PNP President Mark Golding, which failed to acknowledge Prime Minister Andrew Holness at a recent Labour Day event in Kingston. According to the youth arm, the event was organized with a view of displaying national unity and communal spirit among our leaders. Young Jamaica says Golding was invited to the event by Culture Minister Olivia Grange to join the Prime Minister at the National Labour Day project to show a united effort. However, it says it's disappointed that Golding's social media posts only covered the presence of himself and the Mayor of Kingston. It says there appeared to be an intentional effort to ignore the presence of the Prime Minister. Young Jamaica also sought to denounce what it notes as an emerging trend where supporters of the People's National Party sing the party's anthem at events intended to generate unity. Describing the action as tribalism, Young Jamaica is calling on the PNP's leadership to ensure it's discontinued.
The Constitutional Reform Committee, CRC, has recommended that the government reverse its decision to transfer the functions of the Office of the Political Ombudsman to the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, ECJ. The recommendation is contained in the committee's report tabled in the House of Representatives last week. Norgay Banton has more in this report.
The Holness administration faced significant criticism over its decision to transfer the functions of the political ombudsman to the electoral oversight body, the ECJ. The bill ultimately passed in Parliament without the support of the opposition. The CRC is recommending that the ECJ, which is now a commission of Parliament governed by an interim act, be entrenched in the Constitution. But the committee says, having considered the matter and acknowledging the divergence of views on the issue, it wants to see the ECJ entrenched in the Constitution, but without the functions of the political ombudsman attached. The CRC recommends instead that the political ombudsman's role remain governed by ordinary legislation. It would appear the Cabinet has accepted the CRC's recommendation as the committee's report was tabled in the House of Representatives without amendment. The seeming reversal comes just shy of 6 months after Justice Minister Delroy Chuck piloted the change through the House of Representatives and defended it from civil society criticism. Nationwide's question to the minister on the matter went unanswered. In the meantime, the CRC has recommended that the ECJ enjoy the same level of entrenchment in the Constitution as the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal. The committee has also recommended that the public defender be given the same level of entrenchment in the Constitution as the ECJ. The CRC says by doing so, Parliament would be honouring the expressed deliberations of the island's two major political parties to do so. It says, with the passing of the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms in 2011, the matter of entrenching the public defender is now of greater significance. Norgay Banton for Nationwide News.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5 more after these.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
16 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial is the expert in pest control, air purification and hygiene services. Call today 876-926-4236.
The temperature by Rentokil is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 32 in Mabay.
Plan your tomorrow today. Introducing JMMB's Hello Future Retirement Planning website. Figure out how much you'll need to be set for life with our calculated tools and tips at your fingertips. Visit hellofuture.jmmb.com and start your journey to your dream retirement today. Conditions apply.
Drive Hyundai vehicles beyond your dreams with an exclusive 5.99% interest rate. Yes, shop Hyundai vehicles and get a super low 5.99% interest rate on your car loan. Plus 2 years free service, 1 year insurance, and 5 years warranty. Offer valid on all 2024 Hyundai vehicles. Drive your Hyundai with the lowest interest, 5.99%. Conditions apply. If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Continuing the news. The government says it has not made any decision on banning corporal punishment in homes. The comment follows a recent announcement by Justice Minister Delroy Chuck on banning corporal punishment domestically. Dana Davy reports.
Minister Chuck made the announcement at a child diversion forum last Wednesday. He said the government plans to outlaw corporal punishment in homes, building on the success of the ban imposed in schools across the island. According to Minister Chuck, the government aims to create a cultural shift by encouraging parents to speak to their children in strong language instead of resorting to physical punishment. However, in a release on Monday, the government stated that no decision has been taken on prohibiting corporal punishment in homes. Weighing in on the issue, Education and Youth Minister Favour Williams says effective solutions to the issue of violence against children are being pursued. She says this is being done through the National Parenting Support Commission's training programs. The government says it values the diverse perspectives in society and is committed to a collaborative approach to address the issue. It says the National Commission on Violence Prevention has been tasked with conducting a multidimensional examination of violence in Jamaican society, ensuring that all voices are heard and considered. The commission was established by Prime Minister Andrew Holness and is chaired by Professor Maureen Sams-Vaughan. According to the government, a report from the commission will be a key driver to inform national conversations on corporal punishment in the home. The government noted that it will continue to engage in widespread consultations on the matter. Dana Davy for Nationwide News.
Head of the Manchester Police Division, Deputy Superintendent Kerry Duncan, says the division believes it has identified the perpetrator of the murder of C.J. Cunningham. Cunningham, a 29-year-old farmer, was gunned down on Friday, April 26 in Dayton while tiling a house. In 2022, Cunningham was the recipient of the Prime Minister's Youth Award for Agriculture and Agro-Processing. Speaking with Nationwide News on Monday, DSP Duncan says information will be revealed to the public shortly.
I believe that where C.J. Cunningham's murder is, we are somewhere in the region of 98%. To just put the icing on the cake where that one is concerned. I believe that we have identified the perpetrator and we will be making that public to the public soon.
DSP Duncan credits detectives assigned to the Manchester Division for the progress made in the investigation into Cunningham's murder.
We have some top-class detectives in Manchester, I'll tell you. They work night and day. They work assiduously. And as I say, it speaks in the figures, right? The clear-up rate as it relates to murders in Manchester. We are a professional organization, and we will just continue to do that in order to let the persons within Manchester feel safe. Like I said, we won't be able to stop all the murders, but I guarantee you that we will arrest all the offenders where murder is concerned.
DSP Kerry Duncan, head of the Manchester Police Division.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
In regional news, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Brown, has blasted empty and grossly inadequate climate pledges from wealthy developed nations. Brown, who is the president of this decade's UN Summit for Small Island Developing States, says wealthy nations have failed to meet obligations to limit damage from carbon emissions. Prime Minister Brown says it's not sufficient for nations to simply make empty and grossly inadequate commitments under the Paris Agreement. The 2015 Treaty on Climate Change aims to limit emissions and prevent temperatures from rising more than 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. This threshold is seen as a tipping point for more severe and irreversible climate events. Prime Minister Brown has called for more climate financing, a global carbon tax on oil companies, an end to fossil fuel subsidies, and a faster transition to renewable energy sources. He's urging rich nations to honor a pledge to send $100 billion a year to poorer countries to help reduce emissions and mitigate extreme weather.
Further afield, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has labeled the strike which killed scores of displaced Palestinians in Rafah on Sunday as a tragic mistake. According to Hamas, at least 45 people were killed. Hundreds more were treated for severe burns, fractures, and shrapnel wounds. Speaking in the Israeli parliament, Netanyahu said it was vital that Israel took every precaution possible to protect civilians caught up in the fight in Gaza. But he insisted the Israel Defense Forces used their best efforts not to harm those uninvolved in the conflict. He also vowed to keep fighting against Hamas. Netanyahu has come under attack from some family members for failing to strike a deal for the return of their loved ones. Despite the ICJ's ruling, Israel has pledged to continue with the invasion of Rafah. Israel launched Sunday's Rafah attack just hours after Hamas launched its first missile attack on Tel Aviv in several months.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour. King's Counsel Valerie Anita Robertson questions the credibility of Keith Clark's widow during cross-examination today.
The JLP's Colonel Charles Jr. has more questions for PNP President Mark Golding as row intensifies over his British citizenship.
So there is no room, there cannot be divided loyalties.
Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency says there's been no breach of its internal systems amid questions about Mark Golding's travel history.
The government says it hasn't made a decision on banning corporal punishment in homes.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robeanne Williams.
And you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Does your bra ride up your back? Do your shoulders hurt from carrying the weight of your breasts? These are signs of an ill-fitting bra. When was the last time you were fitted by a bra fit specialist? The bra experts at LaBelle Femme will take care of you. Drop into the store at 53 Lady Musgrave Road, Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 to 5, and you will see the difference. Or call 876-622-6091.
We've He's been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations, the supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Members of the West Indies team departed the island today for Port of Spain on the final leg of their preparation for the 2024 ICC T20 Cricket World Cup, which bowls off on Saturday. The two-time world champions swept their three-match T20 series, a 3-0 over South Africa, after the impressive 8-wicket victory in the final game at Sabina Park yesterday. Darren Sammy's men will close out their preparation on Thursday when they take on Australia in their only warm-up game at the Queen's Park Oval, starting at 6 p.m. Jamaica time. The squad will be joined in Trinidad by Nicholas Pooran, Andre Russell, Shafeen Rutherford, Shimron Hitmar, and the captain Rovman Powell. Johnson Charles, who was star of yesterday's victory at Sabina Park, says when the team is at full strength, they're going to be a handful.
It's all about, like I said, implementing what we did in the training camp, and we're still missing a couple of guys to make up the squad. It's promising signs to see that we beat South Africa 3-0. So by the time the other guys join us, I think that we'll have the full squad, and we're just looking to just continue from here.
The West Indies will open their campaign at the World Cup on June 2 against Papua New Guinea at Providence in Guyana, and Charles says the players will have to adapt quickly to conditions at the venue.
I don't think it's anything about changing. It's about assessing conditions, because different countries have different conditions. So it's about assessing earlier and just keeping the positive intent and play to the conditions.
Johnson Charles. Meanwhile, Australia will be significantly shortened for the game, with players who were involved late into the IPL given the chance for a short break at home before heading to the Caribbean. They are set to have just 9 players available for the match against Namibia tomorrow and against West Indies on Thursday. Pat Cummins, Travis Head and Mitchell Starc were involved in the IPL final yesterday and will briefly return to Australia before joining the World Cup squad. Glenn Maxwell and Cameron Green, who were part of Royal Challengers of Bengaluru's run to the playoffs, are also spending time at home. Those 5 are due to arrive when the Australia squad fly to Barbados ahead of their group game against Oman on June 5. Marcus Toynis is also yet to arrive in the Caribbean. It means that Australia will likely need to call in members of the coaching staff to field during the warm-up games if they want a full complement. Brad Hodge has joined the support staff for this tournament, while head coach Andrew McDonald, national selector George Bailey and assistant coach Andre Borovic could also be called into play. With 5 days to go before the start of the Racers Grand Prix, Meet CEO Devon Blake says the excitement is already at fever pitch. The World Athletics Continental Tour Silver is set for the National Stadium on Saturday. Blake says the anticipation for the meet is reaching new heights.
Stadium is booked, the track is getting faster as we wait. The athletes are putting out their own little excitement, the little teasers to say, hey, fans come out. Noah Lyles has a video that he has also shared, that was shared to the media. The races will be fire. That 100 meter will be a blistering run. People just should get excited and prepare themselves to come enjoy the evening.
And Blake says the men's 100 and the women's 100 meters will be must-sees.
The 100 meter is loaded. Oblique Civil, Zarnel Hughes, Ferdinand Amanyala, and they all challenged Noah Lyles, the reigning world champion. The times have been falling. If you've been following the track and field, the times in the 100 meters have been falling, and we expect that the fastest time for the year will be run here at the Racers Grand Prix. The women are also putting on a show. Julian Alfred will be here. She just came second, so we expect an even faster time from her coming this weekend. She challenges Alana Reid. Well, Alana Reid challenges Julian Alfred, because Julian Alfred just won the 60 meter indoor.
Devon Blake. Finally, the reign of Spanish superstar Rafa Nadal as king of Roland Garros has possibly come to an end. The 14-time winner was today beaten in the first round by the 27-year-old German 4th seed Alexander Zverev 6-3, 7-6, 6-3. Zverev is now only the 3rd man after Robin Soderling in 2009 and Novak Djokovic in 2015 and 2021 to beat Nadal at the French Open. The 22-time Grand Slam champ arrived at Court Philippe Chatrier, the scene of many of the finest moments of his career to a thunderous reception from a packed stadium. It might well have bidded them farewell at the end, with some fans crying in the stands. Nadal departed to another standing ovation as the crowd showed their appreciation for the tournament's finest ever champion. And it's now time for the Nationwide Olympic Fact, and it's sponsored by Fontana Pharmacy.
This is Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Fontana Pharmacy. It's all good inside.
Did you know that Dion Hemmings is the first Jamaican woman to win individual gold at an Olympic Games? Yes, that's a fact. Dion Hemmings created history when she won gold in the women's 400 meters hurdles at the 1996 Olympics in a then Games record time of 52.82 seconds.
That was Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Fontana Pharmacy. It's all good inside.
That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Hyundai, the home of modern, premium, affordable vehicles. Call us at 876-630-1511. The time by Hyundai is
5:31.
You didn't know that the government decreased JUTC bus fares? Yes, it's now 70 for adults, 25 for children, and 30 for pensioners. And in April, fares will go down even further to 50 for adults, 20 for children, and 25 for pensioners.
The temperature by the office of the Prime Minister is
31 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's a 32 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Cool loans, I'll lend you 500 grand. Fee buy appliances and electrons. All flexible, payment plan. Yeah man, a hot cash. Hot. I hope to 500 grand. Yeah man, a hot cash. $500,000 that make you rich fast. 100 grand fi buy steel and black. 200 fi furniture, laptop. 200 fi keep birthday bash. Yeah money loan hot. Get a cool loan to purchase all your electronics, furnitures and appliances at coolmarket.com.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the hose and tool boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
This outstanding 6'4" athlete credits Jamaica with her first Olympic victory ever.
Jamaica is filled with Olympians.
World record holder McKinley dashes into the lead.
We must never forget the forerunners of Jamaican Olympic greatness.
Coming into the home stretch, it's Wint who challenges the leader.
Win or lose, athletes never forget their Olympic experience.
Merely not Ian, devastated, another world-class feat. And Hemmings is going to do it! Hemmings wins it, she's the champion.
Win or lose, Jamaicans will cheer the loudest at the Olympics so that the world will never forget who we are.
And Usain Bolt is moving away, and Jamaica retain their title, and the world record has been taken apart. Oh, I say!
From July 26 to August 11, tune in only to Nationwide 90 FM for the coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, because we're here to ensure that you never forget. Nationwide's coverage is powered by our bronze sponsors: National Road Operating and Construction Company Limited, Grace Foods, Spirits of Jamaica, Imperial Optical Jamaica, and Rainforest Caribbean.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the cover story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Good afternoon, I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, Cliff.
Good afternoon, Ricardo.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah. And good afternoon to our friends on YouTube. Hello to you if you're joining us on radio, and hi to you if you're joining us on the app. All right, so the issue of dual citizenship for parliamentarians has again been brought to the fore. This in light of the revelation that opposition leader Mark Golding is a British citizen. The last time the matter was raised was in the aftermath of the September 2007 general elections.
Danville Walker had to resign as Director of Elections in 2008 after the PNP challenged him in court for being unqualified to sit as director because he was a dual Jamaican-American citizen. The PNP also went to court to have 5 MPs belonging to the JLP, starting with Daryl Vaz in West Portland, removed from office on the grounds that they were dual citizens at the time of their nomination and hence ineligible to stand for office.
Now, Section 42A of the country's constitution was at the center of the controversy at the time, and it says in relevant part, no person shall be qualified to be appointed as a senator or elected as a member of the House of Representatives who is, by virtue of his own act, under any acknowledgement of allegiance, obedience, or adherence to a foreign power or state.
One of the men who was at the center of the legal battles was Abe Dabdoob. He joins us now. Good afternoon, Mr. Dabdoob.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm alive.
And well?
Hopefully.
Oh.
Thank you.
Good. All right. A number of people are pointing to Section 40 in relation to the current debate and controversy. Provide some background and analysis of why, if there's any basis to Section 40 being relevant in this instant matter of the opposition leader.
Well, as far as the question of whether it's relevant to the opposition leader or not, that is a question that will have to be decided by the people of Jamaica or the courts. In relation to Section 40, you have to look at Section 39 first and foremost. Because Section 39 provides that any Commonwealth citizen can be, who is resident in Jamaica for 12 months or more, can be nominated to the House or be appointed to the Senate. However, I think you need to make a distinction between having dual citizenship and having dual allegiance. If you have dual allegiance, you ought not to be sitting in the House. The question that I understand is being raised now is whether or not being a Commonwealth citizen, that is, if you are a citizen of any of the countries in the Commonwealth, New Zealand, Canada, the United Kingdom, does that raise the question of whether you owe dual allegiance? And to understand, to my mind, what we need to understand is that the king is the king of England. The king is also the king of Jamaica. And he is the king of Canada and the king of Australia, because this is a notion that has been developed over the years by the British, that the kings are personages. And the question that you have to ask yourself, Parliament in England could very well abolish the monarchy. And if they abolish their monarchy, what would happen to us here in Jamaica when our section of the Constitution speaks to the king being head of state?
Mm-hmm.
And these are the problems that the way the Constitution is worded has caused us to now have to look to the courts for a proper interpretation of what the framers of the Constitution meant. Because to me, they could never have meant that England or Canada could not be a foreign power. Because a foreign power is any country that has a government who, when they pass their laws, the laws do not apply to us. So the laws would be foreign to us. And to my mind, I am of the view, although I must concede that it needs to be given judicial decision on the question, that a Commonwealth citizen, just merely being a Commonwealth citizen, does not allow you to have dual allegiance. And that, I don't know if you're following what I'm saying, Cliff.
Yes, yes.
So the question really is dual allegiance. And
how do we define allegiance or dual allegiance?
Well, I think our courts have already indicated that if you have a passport or you acquire a passport of a foreign power, then you owe allegiance to that foreign power.
And that passport would be covered by the section that says by virtue of his own act. So you sought that symbol of allegiance.
That is so. And the Australian case is on the point to go a little further. What they say is that if you have citizenship, you don't even need a passport. If you have failed to act in renouncing that citizenship, you are deemed to have acknowledged it. So these are questions that the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, and probably the Privy Council itself will have to address at some stage in terms of our Constitution. Because to me, if what people are saying that once you're a Commonwealth citizen, you are exempt from owing dual allegiance, that would mean that our framers involved themselves in a scam, because we would not have been truly independent, would we?
And Mr. Dabdoob, help us understand, because Section 39 says it is subject to the provisions of Section 40.
Exactly.
Section 39 deals with qualification for membership, Section 40 with disqualification.
That's right.
And therefore you're saying that it doesn't stop at simply being a Commonwealth citizen of the age of 21 years or upwards, but you must read that being subject to the provision that says, by virtue of his own act, is under an acknowledgement or allegiance, obedience, or adherence to a foreign power or state.
That's right.
And you're saying because the United Kingdom or any other Commonwealth country has a separate government and makes laws that do not apply to Jamaica, then in your estimation, those countries would constitute foreign powers or states.
Yes. That they're perfectly right.
Hold it there for us, Abe Dabdoob. We're up on a break.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:45.
Drive Hyundai Hyundai vehicles beyond your dreams with an exclusive 5.99% interest rate. Yes, shop Hyundai Hyundai vehicles and get a super low 5.99% interest rate on your car loan. Plus 2 years free service, 1 year insurance, and 5 years warranty. Offer valid on all 2024 Hyundai Hyundai vehicles. Drive your Hyundai with the lowest interest, 5.99%. Conditions apply.
Invest in Jamaica and make your money grow. Invest in Mayberry Jamaican Equities Bond, a safe and purposeful way to invest. How? We carefully invest your funds in top local companies, empowering you to profit from multiple businesses, not just one. With a minimum investment of just $20,000 and an interest rate of up to 10.5% per annum, it's more than just growth. It's profit with purpose. Discover more at www.profitwithpurposeja.com or contact your investment advisor for full details. Profit with purpose. Invest with Mayberry.
Outperform, outlast. We top performance. Jackhammer. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fan select tools, free parts and free repairs. Free parts, free repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61114. Delta Supply. We service what we sell.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's the Cover Story, and we have with us Abe Dabdoo, attorney at law, seeking to make sense of Section 40 of the Jamaican Constitution read in relation to Section 39. Mr. Dabdoo, I want to take you back to the Court of Appeal ruling in Dabdoo v. Vaz. And paragraph 35, the former president of the Court of Appeal, Seymour Panton, wrote in part, "If they choose, meaning a Jamaican, a distant, autocratic, unfriendly Commonwealth country for citizenship status, they can still serve in the House of Representatives. If, however, they choose to acquire such status in the United States of America, their friendly and accommodating neighbor to the north, they are disqualified. That may seem an oddity, given the fact that many Jamaicans seek United States citizenship and are more likely to be accommodating in that country compared with the level of accommodation they would receive in many Commonwealth countries. However, that is the Constitution. Does it not appear here that the former president of the Court of Appeal took for granted that Commonwealth citizens automatically have a right, no matter which Commonwealth country they choose, to sit in the House of Representatives?"
You are perfectly correct. He took it for granted. It's not obiter dictum.
And just for the benefit of our listeners, what is obiter dictum?
It is not a rationale of the case that was before him.
So in other words, a sort of throwaway comment.
Yes, and quite frankly, Mr. Panton was very, everybody knows he has always been a person who would have throwaway comments as he goes through his judgments. But I don't necessarily agree with him. But it shows you that, in my opinion, the question of Commonwealth citizens not being subject to their dual allegiance needs to be decided on by the courts.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, Cliff, if you look at the Immigration Restriction Commonwealth Citizens Act, Commonwealth citizens can't just come here as they wish, They need permission. So we certainly, our parliament treats them differently.
Mm-hmm. Going back to something you said before the break, Mr. Dabdoo, you suggested that even if you were to inherit, citizenship of a foreign power, and you do not renounce it,
Yes.
that would constitute dual allegiance. Is that correct?
That is what the case of Sykes versus Cleary and Sue versus Hill in Australia has said.
By not renouncing?
That by not renouncing.
Oh.
Because the failure to do something is an act in itself.
And Mr. Dabdu, let me just be clear. Is that by virtue of the section, the part that says under any acknowledgement?
Yes.
So in other words, the fact that you know.
It's not by any acknowledgement, it's under any acknowledgement. So if you are aware that you are a citizen of a foreign country or a Commonwealth country, and you are so aware and you have not renounced it in order to not nominate, then to my mind, you are guilty of being under the acknowledgement of a foreign power.
Have you discussed this view with your colleagues, your senior colleagues at the bar?
Some of them.
And what is the conclusion?
I must tell you that some of them agree, and one or two who are in the minority, I must say, do not agree. And the unfortunate thing is that some of us tend to look at the question of this law and how it applies in a political sense as to who it will apply to. And quite frankly, I don't think we should be looking at it from the point of view, or that point of view. We should be concerned with the Constitution and void of any particular feelings we have about whether it's right or wrong. And if it needs to be changed, we need to change it. But we can't interpret it the way we would like to interpret it. It would need to be interpreted according to law.
So in that vein, if you were to advise the GLP, which is now making a big issue of this, would it be prudent, in your opinion, for them to take it to the court?
I would not seek to advise any political party anymore. If I am an attorney, I practice law, I no longer practice politics. So I would not want to give anybody any political advice.
Go ahead. On the facts that are now public and all you have heard, do you think, based on sections 39 and 40, Mr. Golding has a legitimate legal question to answer?
I believe that the whole question, not only of Mr. Golding, but anybody else who sits in the House, who has Commonwealth citizenship or Commonwealth passports, need to have their legal position determined by a court of law. Let me put it that way. We need to know that what our Constitution says, because it's my view, as I said before, if the interpretation that some are putting on it, that a Commonwealth citizen is exempt, then really the idea of independence has not really truly happened to us yet. If we have to interpret it that Commonwealth citizens are to be treated special, then we are not really independent.
So, in the case of Mr. Golding says, listen, he's born and bred in Jamaica. Yes, he inherited a British passport and citizenship by descent. By descent. Would that still, given those set of circumstances, disqualify him under 40? In your opinion?
Does he have a passport? I don't know. Does Mr. Golden have a passport?
As in a British passport?
Yes.
What if he does?
Well, and if he has it since he has become an adult and he has renewed it, then I would think it applies to him too.
If he has renewed it?
Yes, but that is a question really for the people of Jamaica to decide too,
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to continue to hold on to it without renouncing, then it's a question that for the electorate to decide whether they accept or not.
Mm-hmm. I'm being reminded that he told TVJ that he has a passport that expires this year. Mm-hmm.
Well, if he has admitted that and he wants to keep it, then it is up to the people to make a decision if there's an election before there is a judicial decision.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Abe Dabdoob, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Abe Dabdoob.
Okay.
Abe Dabdoob was the man who, you could say, started this legal saga.
I went back and I read
regarding dual citizenship. When he challenged Vaz.
I went back and I read the ruling of the former Chief Justice Zelia McCalla, who ruled in the first instance, and then I went and I read the Court of Appeal ruling on the matter. Yeah, and it's interesting, and it gets me a little bit excited, I have to say, it's because it's fascinating to try to make sense of it. To parse the words by virtue of his own act, under any acknowledgement of allegiance. What do those words mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's right that it is something for the courts to decide and to pronounce on.
And coming out of this, it was last week we were told that the Labour Party is considering legal action, whether it should pursue this legal in the courts.
Yes.
I think what we heard from Dabdoob this afternoon will strengthen those who are of that view.
Yes. Yes. I can see how a reasonable person could read these two sections, 39 and 40, and wonder out loud.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be a matter for the courts to settle. And I believe Mr. Vaz, Daryl Vaz, he had an article in both the Sunday Gleaner and the Sunday Observer. I think it was yesterday.
Yes.
And he ended that article with a sort of throwaway sentence.
Mm-hmm.
If that time for a legal challenge.
Yes.
Come.
Yes.
Yes.
This is fascinating as, an onlooker in terms of the law. It is fascinating to hear the intricacies and the arguments. Yeah? And what is clear, what is not so fascinating, is that a lot of people, including myself, have a big problem with our alternative prime minister, yes, having citizenship of a foreign power.
Mm.
It is as simple as that for me. Yeah, I want, like all our previous prime ministers, my prime minister to have no such doubt or conflict surrounding them.
Yes.
There is no doubt about his loyalty and allegiance to us. Yes?
It's a principled matter.
The principle.
Yeah.
He must be in the same boat like all of we. We have no way in can run go.
We should tell the listeners that we did try to get comment from the People's National Party about the legal issues. We were told that they were having a shadow cabinet meeting, and so they weren't able to.
They want to shut this down, I can tell you. This is very, very difficult for them.
A spot of bother.
A spot of bother. They want to shut it down. Yes. All right, that's the cover story. The headlines at 6 are next.
I'm starting to love the law, and you know, I pay for it for me with a big trust fund. I look a bit of money.
Cover story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Say hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan and secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness today. Call 888-367-5433 for details.
The time by Guardian Life is...
It's a minute after 6.
Upgrade your kitchen and bathroom to the next level with Unique Living. They're the ultimate destination for all your kitchen and bathroom needs. From luxurious shower systems to exquisite faucets, vanities, sinks, toilets, closets, and more. They have it all. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call them at 876-755-3661. Elevate your space with Unique Living, where quality meets expectations.
Nationwide News at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM, the most credible and trustworthy news station.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Member of Parliament for South East Clarendon, Colonel Charles Jr., is calling on Opposition Leader Mark Golding to answer what he's describing as serious questions regarding his dual citizenship. In a statement on Monday, the Labour and Social Security Minister says Mark Golding has shown a reluctance to fully commit to Jamaica. As the furor surrounding opposition leader Mark Golding's British citizenship continues, another JLP MP and cabinet minister is weighing in. Minister Charles Jr. is insisting that the PNP president explain a series of misleading statements he made concerning what he dubs the split loyalty fiasco.
For an aspiring head of government in Jamaica to now be embroiled in this fiasco that has led to questions challenging his commitment to our country is an indictment. It is a very serious problem. And one of the questions that he must answer is why did you elect to apply for a UK visitor's visa in circumstances where you know that you're a British citizen and the holder of a British passport, whether that passport is valid or expired? If it is expired, you would simply go and renew your passport. The country requires absolute clarity.
The South East Clarendon MP says the PNP should also indicate why it took him so long to publicly confirm his citizenship status. Mr. Charles Jr. says the country should also be told when Mr. Golding first acquired a Jamaican passport, when he first applied for a U.S. visitor's visa, and when he first applied for a UK visitor's visa.
These matters are critical for us to understand the motive, the intention, the character of someone who is seeking to serve. Now, if you say that you are a British citizen, but you have completed and now have a UK visa in a Jamaican passport, what then did you put in that section when you applied for the UK visa that asks for you to declare the country of your citizenship? Did you admit then that you are a British citizen in your visa application? When did you last renew your British passport?
Mr. Charles Jr. says the opposition leader during an interview a few months ago specifically mentioned having a British passport as a child and indicated that he did not maintain it. He's calling on Mr. Golding to respond to suggestions that he misled Jamaicans by not admitting that he still had a British passport as an adult. The Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, says no breach of their internal system has occurred. This follows accusations by opposition spokesperson on information Nikisha Burchell that Western Portland MP Daryl Vaz committed a privacy breach when he revealed information about opposition leader Mark Golding's passport. Speaking at a media briefing at the office of the Prime Minister last week, Minister with responsibility for information, Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, denied the claims that Mr. Vaz had committed a breach. PICA says it has not violated any data protection regulations, adding that it maintains the highest information security standards. It says the concerns raised about a potential privacy breach are unfounded. PICA says it is fully committed to unfolding the highest ethical standards when handling the personal data of Jamaica citizens. The agency says it will remain transparent and accountable to ensure the public's trust in its ability to protect their data. The youth arm of the Jamaica Labour Party, Young Jamaica, says it's disappointed by social media post from PNP President Mark Golding, which failed to acknowledge Prime Minister Andrew Holness at a recent Labor Day event in Kingston. According to the youth arm, the event was organized with a view of displaying national unity and communal spirit among our leaders. Young Jamaica says Golding was invited to the event by Culture Minister Olivia Grange to join the Prime Minister at the National Labour Day project to show a united effort. However, it expressed disappointment that Golding's social media post only covered the presence of himself and the Mayor of Kingston. It says there appeared to be an intentional effort to ignore the presence of the Prime Minister. Young Jamaica also sought to denounce what it notes as an emerging trend where supporters of the PNP sing the party's anthem at events intended to generate unity. Describing the action as tribalism, Young Jamaica is calling on the PNP leadership to ensure it's discontinued. Over the weekend, the PNP called for a revised social media code for government ministers after a social media post by Culture Minister Olivia Grange failed to acknowledge former Prime Minister PJ Patterson in a picture posted on her account. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sports is next.
We've been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations, the supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
Make we keep Jamaica clean. Me as if we keep Jamaica clean. Keep Jamaica clean. Our duty fi keep our island clean. Mobile to Kingston, sidewalk and beach. Bag it, bin it, recycle it please. Proper garbage disposal, make we do it. Keep Jamaica clean. Keep Jamaica. A message from the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
Super Center, everything for your home and more.
And we mean everything, not just houseware and appliances. At Zan Super Center, we have furniture too. Furniture for your living room, dining room, bedroom, kitchen, and more. Low on cash? At Zan Super Center, we have layaway plans. Don't delay. Come in today.
Zan Super Center, we're gonna make you smile. Zan Super Center, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad. from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record, 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Members of the West Indies team departed the island today for Port of Spain in Trinidad on the final leg of preparation for the 2024 ICC T20 World Cup, which bowls off on Saturday. The two-time world champions swept their three-match T20 series at 3-0 over South Africa after the impressive victory by 8 wickets in the final game at Sabina Park yesterday. Darren Sammy's men will close out their preparation on Thursday when they face Australia in their only warm-up game at the Queen's Park Oval starting at 6 p.m. Jamaica time. The squad will be joined in Trinidad by Nicholas Pooran, Andre Russell, Shafin Rutherford, Shimran Hitmar and captain Rovman Powell. Johnson Charles, who was one of the stars of yesterday's victory at Sabina Park, says when the team is at full strength, they're going to be a handful.
It's all about, like I said, implementing what we did in the training camp, and we're still missing a couple of guys to make up the squad. It's promising signs to see that we beat South Africa 3-0. So by the time the other guys join us, I think that we'll have the full squad, and we're just looking to just continue from here.
The West Indies will open their campaign at the World Cup on June 2 against Papua New Guinea at Providence in Guyana, and Charles says the players will have to adapt quickly to the conditions at the venue.
I don't think it's anything about changing. It's about assessing conditions, because different countries have different conditions. So it's about assessing early and just keeping the positive intent and play to the conditions.
West Indies opener Johnson Charles. Meanwhile, Australia will be significantly short-handed for the game, with players who were involved late into the IPL given the chance for a short break at home before heading to the Caribbean. They are set to have joined 9 players available for the match against Namibia tomorrow and against West Indies on Thursday. Pat Cummins, Travis Head and Mitchell Stark were involved in the IPL final on Sunday and will briefly return to Australia before joining the World Cup squad. Glenn Maxwell and Cameron Green, who were part of Royal Challengers run to the playoffs, are also spending time at home. Those 5 are due to arrive when the Australia squad reaches Barbados ahead of their first group game against Oman on June 5. Marcus Toynis has also yet to arrive in the Caribbean. It now means that Australia will likely need to call on members of the coaching staff to field during the warm-up games if they want a full complement. Brad Hodge has joined this coaching staff for this tournament, while head coach Andrew McDonald, national selector George Bailey and assistant coach Andre Borfech could also be called into play. With 5 days to go before the start of the Racers Grand Prix, Meet CEO Devon Blake says the excitement is already fever pitch. The World Athletics Continental Tour Silver Meet is set for the National Stadium on Saturday. Blake says the anticipation for the meet is reaching new heights.
Stadium is booked, the track is getting faster as we wait. The athletes are putting out their own little excitement, the little teasers to say, hey, fans come out. Noah Lyles has a video that he has also shared, that was shared to the media. The races will be fire. That 100 meter will be a blistering run. People just should get excited and prepare themselves to come enjoy the evening.
He says the men and women's 100 meters will be must-sees.
The 100 meter is loaded. Oblique Civil, Zarnel Hughes, Ferdinand Amanyala, and they all challenged Noah Lyles, a reigning world champion. The times have been falling. If you've been following the track and field, the times in the 100 meters have been falling, and we expect that the fastest time for the year will be run here at the Racers Grand Prix. The women are also putting on a show. Julian Alfred will be here. She just came second, so we expect an even faster time from her coming this weekend. She challenges Alana Reid. Well, Alana Reid challenges Julian Alfred, because Julian Alfred just won the 60-meter indoor.
That's Devon Blake, CEO of Racers Grand Prix. And Nationwide 90 FM will have live coverage of the meet during Sports Nation Live. The meet is set to start at 7 o'clock. Coach of Nagohead Primary, Ezron Green, has been singing the praises of his athletes after winning the recent InSports Devon Biscuits Primary Schools Athletics Championship. The St. Catherine-based school amassed 196 points from the 40 finals contested. Green says they didn't have the strongest team at the grand finale.
at the lower classes, we think we did better than them because for class 3 and class 4, we had a boy and a girl in each final, and we had a top boy who did well, Ricardo Granville, who performed well in the 100 and the 150s, and also his relay team won. So at the lower class, they did well because we didn't have a well-rounded team. If you look at our team, there is mostly the girls. We had a girls team, and then we had a lower class of boys. But if you check our points at class 1, we didn't hardly score any points there except for the hurdles and the jumps, but we didn't do so excellent at the top.
And you also named some individual stars who shone.
We had some exceptional performances. We had Sarah McDonald in class 2. She came second in the 100 and she came first in the 200. We had Kenisha Robinson, who won the 300 and came second in the 70-meter hurdles. We had Ricardo Granville, as I mentioned earlier, who won 100 and a 150. We had Dante Barrett, who won the 70-meter hurdles and came fourth in the long jump. We had Wavani Walker, the captain. She won the 400 and came fourth in the 200. So these were the exceptional performances, and the other people galvanize and contribute their 1 or 2 points.
Yeah, and of course, that's the coach of the Nagohead winning championship team. The top Jamaican swimmer Emily McDonald lowered her personal best in the women's 50 meters free twice at the 3-day Tornadoes Invitational at the stadium pooled at the weekend. On Saturday, she won in 25.83 seconds to become the fastest woman ever over the distance in Jamaica. McDonald went even faster with a swim of 25.74 seconds to win on Sunday. The previous fastest time was 21.91 seconds, set by 2 regional Olympians, Trinidad and Tobago, Chantel McLean in 2004 and Julian Crooks from the Cayman Islands 2023. Coach of swim aquatic Linville Lowe says she's now the second fastest Jamaican woman all time.
The performance is a one in a million, you know, because when we do a little research, we realize that it's an all-mass record, which means that nobody in the history of the sport ever swim that time at the National Stadium Pool. And also how big that swim was is that when we look also at the Caribbean and the Central American, this would be the fastest time for this year. It's a really big thing. So the only 2 persons out of the whole is the 2 fastest 50 meters in Jamaican swimming ever is Alia Atkinson and our swimmer here, Emily McDonald.
Yeah, and Alia's time is 25.47 seconds, and that was done in 2018. McDonald's performance makes her now the front runner to represent Jamaica at the Olympic Games in Paris.
She's now in the lead for it. Sabrina Lynn did have the fastest qualifying time. So she unseated Sabrina Lynn. But Sabrina Lynn now is going to Mexico to the CIC Games where she can lower that time. If she does so, then she would be in line to represent the country at the Olympic Games. But Emily's also going to Bahamas on the 21st. If she lowers that time even more, then, you know, Sabrina Lynn is out and then she's in.
Linville Lowe. A Spanish court has ruled that UEFA and FIFA were wrong to ban clubs from joining the breakaway European Super Football League. Madrid's commercial court said the European and world governing bodies were practicing anti-competitive behavior and abusing their dominant position. However, UEFA says the ruling is not an endorsement of the ESL or backing of any proposal. A similar decision was made by the European Court of Justice in December. The case was brought by A22 Sports Management, the company behind the ESL, against the UEFA, FIFA, Spain's La Liga, and the Spanish Football Federation. UEFA has since changed its rules around new competitions following the collapse of the ESL proposal in April of 2021, and the court says those new rules are unaffected by Monday's ruling. UEFA said the ruling has not given the green light to, nor has it approved projects like the Super League, while La Liga added the court did not endorse the project. The reign of Spanish superstar Rafa Nadal as king of Roland Garros has possibly come to an end. The 14-time winner was today beaten in the first round by a 27-year-old German fourth seed Alexander Zverev 6-3, 7-6, 6-3. Zverev is now only the third man after Robin Soderling in 2009 and Novak Djokovic in 2015 and 2021 to beat Nadal at the French Open. The 22-time Grand Slam champ arrived on court Philippe Chatrier, the scene of many of the finest moments of his career, to a thunderous reception from a packed stadium, and might very well have bidded them farewell at the end, with some fans crying in the stands. Nadal departed to another standing ovation as the crowd showed its appreciation for the tournament's finest ever champion. And we close with the nationwide Olympic fact, and it's brought to you by Rainforest Caribbean.
This is Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Rainforest Caribbean. Make delicious moments.
Did you know that from 1921 to 1948, artists participated in the Olympics too? Yes, that's a fact. In these games, painters, sculptors, architects, writers, and musicians all took part. They competed for medals by creating works of art that often celebrated the sporting successes going on at the same time. While artists stopped officially competing in 1948, many still design posters and other merchandise for the games today.
That was Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Rainforest Caribbean. Make delicious moments.
That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:21.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record, 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
My Mega Mart, best value by far.
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
My Mega Mart, best value by far.
Welcome deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. When you're good, you're just good. Hey, had the national flavor. You go off and buy this bag. So good, it's just so good. Welcome deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. National Baking Company, just so good.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robeanne Williams. A special good evening to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, as always, we want to hear from you, so we ask you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. So, The government says it has not made any decision on banning corporal punishment in homes. Now, the comment follows a recent announcement by Justice Minister Delroy Chuck that the government is considering the move. Minister Chuck made the announcement at a child diversion forum last Wednesday. He said the government plans to outlaw corporal punishment in homes, building on the success of the ban imposed in schools across the island. Now, according to Minister Chuck, the government aims to create a cultural shift by encouraging parents to speak to their children in strong language instead of resorting to physical punishment. However, in a release on Monday, the government stated that no decision has been taken on prohibiting corporal punishment in homes. Weighing in on the issue, Education and Youth Minister Favour Williams says effective solutions to the issue of violence against children are being pursued. She went on further to say that this is being done through the National Parenting Support Commission's training programs. Now, in public opinion today, we're asking the question, should parents be punished for beating their children? To the answers for that question, we turn to our social media platform on Facebook. Philip Jackson says, well, first of all, the word beating to me sounds like the one coming from the slave plantation, and that is abuse. Spanking is more like it. But any kind of painful physical discipline should be avoided as much as possible. When the Bible said don't spare the rod and spoil the child, it was more talking about be strong and results on growing the child properly. Okay. Pamela Bennett says nothing wrong with spanking your children, but some parents overdo it, that it becomes abuse. That is when parents should be punished. Okay. Ricardo Porter says, I believe parents are to discipline the children positively. Edney Powell says, yes, they should be punished. You don't have to hit your child or children. You need to set clear guidelines for your children to follow. Hitting a child is coming from the slavery mentality. All right. Christopher Isaac says, absolutely not. Jason Ford, no. However, if they abuse the child, then and only then should they be charged. Ruthlyn Matthews is saying, let me skip that one. Shauna Scott says only the abusive ones should be punished. Wesley Cunningham says as long as it done in a positive way without hurting them. Nicholson, K.N. Nicola says tough love with caring is important for children. If parents are disciplining their children and not abusing them, I don't see the reason to administer punishment to the parents. Philip Harrison believes that the government should be punished for banning corporal punishment in schools. Listen. I feel strongly about beating in schools. I feel very strongly about my child coming home to me that I don't beat, telling me that she get beaten in a class with a ruler in her hand. I don't know. I feel strongly about it, but let me just get through the views on our social media platform to the question, should parents be punished for beating their children? Little But Talawa says no. Parents should be punished for abusing their children. Natalie Winter says yes, and throw away the keys. Too much hurt and pain caused by those monsters who are also called parents. Get rid of them. Ruth Naomi is sharing something with us. She's saying, I used to get beating and I hate it. We should use wisdom when scolding children. Even at school, we were abused by teachers using belts across our backs. Same thing me I said. The headmaster with canes in our hands. It was horrible. When thinking about it, parents should or must build a relationship with their children with rules of what to do and what not to do and the consequences that come with being disobedient. Listen, that beating a school thing, I don't beat my child. So how am I supposed to send my child to school and my child will come back home and tell me that she get beaten? I know. I know I feel strongly about it, but I'll still continue to read the comments that we're getting. Should parents be punished for beating their children? And I will outright point it out to say, no, not punished. But beating is a strong word, like one of our respondents said. Beating is a strong word. Spanking or maybe disciplining but beating sounds strong. All right. Andrew Titus says beating, yes, as it sounds harsh and violent. Spanking, no. However, it is important that parents know they can actually get their children to understand boundaries and learn to respect others without resorting to that. Educating children on how to become good parents can also help. Me never get no beating. Me just point that out. Me never get no beating in my growing up days. Me never get no beating. And me no beat my baby. I don't see it happening. I asked my mother, and my mother said no. I didn't get no beating. So me never grew up on beating, so me no feel like beating, But then you have some who will say that them grow up on beating and nothing never do them, so them not see nothing wrong if pitney get beaten. But beating is just, there's a thin line, when it becomes abusive. Now I say pitney not forget lick, that's not what I'm saying. Because you can share your own views on that, right? And you're entitled to your own views. It's public opinion. Stolen says definitely should be banned. If beating was so effective, crime would not be so high. They must ensure that proper counseling resources are across the island, like at police station or something, to deal with these kids if the parent need help with disciplining the child. A layman's point of view says parents are responsible for caring for their children. Where there is abuse, there should be sanctions, but beating is not always abuse. Yes, that exactly. I said there's a thin line. To me, I think there's a thin line, and you be careful not to cross it because you may be abusive. Aurelus says yes, if it requires obviously no abuse, but the right amount, belt to the butt or hand middle. Daryl says only when it turns abusive. Not all beating is abusive. Okay. All right, let me go to the comments quickly on our Instagram platform. Yanzi saying the Bible says don't spare the rod and spoil the child. Do it with love. Nah, kill them, but picnic forget touch up. Okay, and touch up mean beaten. That's what you're referring to, Yanzi. Danny says learn this. If the parents na beat and teach them, police are go con. I don't know what Danny is saying here. I'll leave that one alone. Bless says as long as it's not child abuse, then no. Dainty says some of these parents saying yes don't even have a child. Let the parents answer. They are the ones who have to deal with it. MZ says no, but there's a difference between abuse and discipline. If you're just joining us, we're inside the court of public opinion. Should parents be punished for beating their children? Let me go to the comments on our YouTube. Sandra Murray says, I know of teachers who used to stand up on the desk to come down hard with the cane on students' back. Wicked act. I don't agree with corporal punishment. Diaz Kent says, I guess we need our society to be like the American and European societies where the children and young people have no manners to their teachers, no, and parents. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But tell me if you as a parent would feel comfortable for your child come home and say, with a big wheel on the back or something. Nothing justifies being beaten, especially at school. I don't know. I mean, nowadays you see where secondary students are more putting fight to teachers and whatnot. In that case, that coming like, that I don't even know. But imagine your 8-year-old coming home to you saying that such and such happened. I don't believe it. I don't want it. I don't know. Let me see if I can get in some more. Electro Squad says parents should only be punished if they abuse their children. Yep. Let me see if I can get in some more. Philip Jackson says my mother always spit on the ground and sent us to shop and said don't let it dry before. Yes, I've heard of that one. Kimani Bernard says parents should not be punished only when it becomes abusive. Yes. Let me see. Brick Road, parents and teachers who abuse children should be charged. No teacher should put their hands on people's children. And that is what me say. I don't beat my child, so why should you beat my child? I don't believe it. Find some other ways to discipline my child at school. Call me in. We can sit down. We can talk about it. But no beat my pitney. Don't beat my pitney. Me know about one day. Ramona Morgan says parents should be punished for abusing their children. Yes, I agree. But reprimanding a child is needed when talking is not working. I agree, Ramona. Find some way to discipline the child. Norman Duval says don't spare the rod and spoil the child. Audrey Sinclair says you need to teach your child. No, I don't need to teach my child myself, Audrey Sinclair. Look at it this way. You have your 8-year-old and your 8-year-old come home with some big mark on him skin or her skin, and you're okay with that? And you're telling me I need to teach my child? All right. Caldon Royal says I get the most beating from my parents and I end up okay. I love no, I'm not saying, don't love the parents who beat. I'm not saying that, Calden, but I'm saying, the big heavy duty lick where as an adult you can look on your skin and say, all right, my mother did give me that. And my father did give me that. And I can't have this mark on my skin for sure. Say, no, me not in them something there. Marquis says beating is the wrong word. I agree. Reprimand, yes. Clapper said that is why I'm spoiled, because I never get liquid. I don't think so. I don't know what you know about me, Clapper. What you know about me? Mona Smith says parents on a pick their head tough, them no listen. I don't know how I feel about the licking a hand and Yeah, but you're saying Mona Smith, I said licking a hand. I don't lick my child in a hand. Me no lick none at all. So me no see why my child for go to school and get licked. But to each his own, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion. That's where I'll leave it. It's an ongoing conversation, as the Minister of Education and Youth said. Favour Williams says effective solutions to the issue of violence against children are being pursued. Right? And she says that the government has no decision has been made on banning corporal punishment in homes. Okay. All right, that's enough for public opinion. Thank you so much for participating. The business report is up next.
Public opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Today, the Jamaica Stock Exchange implemented the T+1 settlement cycle along with the international community and extended its trading hours from 3.5 hours to 5. The new trading hours are now from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Mondays to Fridays, providing investors with more time to buy and sell securities on the stock market. According to Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, she says, today we take pride in aligning with international standards, which brings significant benefits to our market. She continued to say that this move allows for quicker receipt of cash and securities for investors and is intended to increase market liquidity. In our currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 156 Jamaican dollars and 64 cents to buy $1, 198 Jamaican dollars and 62 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 115 Jamaican dollars and 29 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. And that's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Live exquisite this year with new arrival black and chrome fixtures for your home at Unique Living. Select from a wide variety of rain shower systems, fabulous faucets, and stylish sinks to suit your kitchen and bathrooms. Get uncompromised quality and style unique to you. Shop everything new at Unique Living, Jamaica's leading shower and faucets provider. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call 876-755-3661 to 2.
Listen to Nationwide 90 FM on 90.1,
90.3,
90.7,
90.9,
or visit our flow channel on a 916.
To our valued listeners, for questions, comments, or concerns about our programs, email us at programs@nationwidenewsnetwork.com.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:39.
This is Wayne Walker from Nationwide 90 FM, and I'll be reporting live from the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Nationwide 90 FM understands that this could be the best Olympic Games ever. Never miss a single moment, update, commentary, or analysis from the 2024 Paris Olympic Games when you tune into Nationwide 90 FM.
Ronnie James is coming at Hudson Smith, but watch the Jamaican! Here comes Antonio Watson, this could be a photo finish! The Jamaicans got it!
Nationwide 90 FM, we promise to give you A+ coverage powered by our silver sponsors, Digicel and Supreme Ventures Limited.
Don't let poor vision hold your children back. IQ Optical gives complimentary standard reflection-free lenses to children and teachers until May 31. Conditions apply.
Takes place at the Racers Grand Prix Saturday, June 1 at the National Stadium. World champion Noah Lyles, British record holder Zarnel Hughes, Africa's fastest man Ferdinand Amanyala, and Jamaica's favorite Oblique Seville battling the 100 meters. World champion Antonio Watson takes on champion Allison. Olympic champion Hansel Parchment graces the track in his pet event. St. Lucian hotshot Julian Alfred goes up against the young Jamaican Joel Alana Reid. Devin Charlton takes on Akira Nugent. Tickets available at racersgrandprix.com, mysticonlinetix.com, and the Jamaica Pegasus starting May 24. Finish line $5,000, regular grandstand $3,000, bleachers $500. Don't miss a great night experiencing Jamaica's track and field, passion and entertainment.
I stay locked to the Olympics because, of course, I'm Jamaican. What you mean? Me, I have to tune into the Olympics, man, because I'm always busy, but what? I have to know when Sherika Jackson beat Shakari.
Brother, I have to have every notification for the Olympics. I want to hear every run.
Now Sherika Jackson coming
every jump.
Oh, that is absolutely huge of Wayne Pinkham.
Every fling, live.
So, take us then.
Nothing can miss me.
We're always on the move.
So while we're driving, run, Elaine, run.
Jogging. Yes. Run, Watson. Win again.
Watson is now a world champion.
Or even at work.
Quick. The race has started.
We can't miss a beat because we keep it locked
to the only station
for the Paris Olympics.
Nationwide.
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 90 FM.
Nationwide 90.1, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7 and 90.9, and on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live. Nationwide, the new revolution in media.
Listen to Nationwide 90 FM on 90.1,
90.3,
90.7,
90.9,
or visit our Flow channel on a 916. To our valued listeners, for questions, comments, or concerns about our programs, email us at programs@nationwidenewsnetwork.com.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here Nationwide at 5. Yes, at 5. You know, sometimes I get confused with...
Up in that age.
Can you continue?
Can you remember the segment? What's the name of the
Nation's
segment?
Business.
Good. Dinner, getting my gold star. And listeners in the Nation's Business this evening, we're turning our attention to corporal punishment in homes. The government says it has not made any decision on banning corporal punishment in homes. The comment follows a recent announcement by Justice Minister Delroy Chuck that the government is considering the move. Dana Davy reports.
Minister Chuck made the announcement at a child diversion forum last Wednesday. He said the government plans to outlaw corporal punishment in homes building on the success of the ban imposed in schools across the island. According to Minister Chuck, the government aims to create a cultural shift by encouraging parents to speak to their children in strong language instead of resorting to physical punishment. However, in a release on Monday, the government stated that no decision has been taken on prohibiting corporal punishment in homes. Weighing in on the issue, Education and Youth Minister Favour Williams says effective solutions to the issue of violence against children are being pursued. She says this is being done through the National Parenting Support Commission's training programs. The government says it values the diverse perspectives in society and is committed to a collaborative approach to address the issue. It says the National Commission on Violence Prevention has been tasked with conducting a multidimensional examination of violence in Jamaican society, ensuring that all voices are heard and considered. The commission was established by Prime Minister Andrew Holness and is chaired by Professor Maureen Sams-Vaughan. According to the government, a report from the commission will be a key driver to inform national conversations on corporal punishment in the home. The government noted that it will continue to engage in widespread consultations on the matter. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Dana. Well, we're now being joined by Director of Advocacy at the Jamaica Psychological Society, Valerie McKenzie. She's a health psychologist who specializes in behavioral dentistry. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Cliff. Good evening, Ricardo.
Is it Dr. McKenzie?
Miss.
Miss McKenzie.
Now, yes.
Okay. So, you're from the Jamaica Psychological Society, and we invited you because we want to hear the perspective of the practitioners, the psychologists, on what is the discipline, what is the research on corporal punishment, over the years in Jamaica and the wider world.
Cliff, if I may, where corporal punishment is concerned, with our very mixed views, and if I may zoom in on what the Minister Chuck has spoken about, specifically about banning corporal punishment at home, Cliff. We would not be, Jamaica would just be following 65 other countries which really have banned corporal punishment in schools and in homes, with Zambia and Mauritius, which has as recently as, I think, 2022, banned corporal punishment in homes. Notably, Sweden is on record to have banned corporal punishment in homes since 1979. Well, where the Caribbean is concerned, though mention has been made of it, Jamaica would be the very first to be jumping in to say that they will be prohibiting corporal punishment at home. So I guess we would be a leader there. However, one should note that Jamaica subscribes to the Global Partnership to End Violence Against Children. And as far back as July 2021, the very Prime Minister before the House of Representatives expressed that Jamaica is committed to reforming its laws to prohibit corporal punishment in all settings. So yes, we have been there, Cliff, and that's a part of our story. Where corporal punishment is concerned.
Just a little bit more on the 65 countries who have done so before.
Yeah? Yeah.
Are they largely developing countries, developed countries, countries who have gone through slavery, for example? What? Do you know?
We have some European countries and we have some developing countries. Zambia would not be considered as one of the developed countries, and it is one of the most recent ones to really to ban corporal punishment in all settings.
Ms. McKenzie, when we talk about corporal punishment, yes, and we say ban it, And I hear the public conversations and people say, boy, I should be allowed to spank my child, right?
Yeah.
And when we talk about the effects and the negative effects, what exactly is considered officially corporal punishment? Would that include also the spanking? And is that something, from the perspective of the Jamaica Psychological Society, you think ought to be banned?
The definition of corporal punishment as given by the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child is that it is any punishment which physical force is used and used and intended to cause some degree of pain or discomfort, however light there is. And for us, yes, spanking is included, and as I've said, however light there is. And spanking, whether it's hitting with an object and whatever degree of harm there is, that would be considered corporal punishment. I think you asked about did you say negative impact?
Yeah, right, because, and I'm glad you gave me that UN definition, because when we talk about pain or discomfort, I could see someone saying, boy, that's broad enough to include, to encompass perhaps standing in a corner for an hour. The child doesn't want to do that. That surely brings some amount of discomfort to the child. And so that kind of definition seems to me very broad and sweeping. How do we apply that to the Jamaican context?
I quite agree with you, Ricardo, that is very broad and sweeping. For me, we have our own culture, and I do think that we need to really craft a definition befitting our very culture and our very society.
Yes. And who? So you think the government should lead on that? Or civil society groups, child rights group? How do we come to crafting that societally appropriate definition?
I see where the Minister of Education and Youth had said that stakeholders would be engaged, and I think that is where this should be put to stakeholders, and we do come up with that definition befitting our society.
And do you worry that in that discussion or lived experience, which is that, I mean, rightly or wrongly, children should be seen, not heard. If you go spare the rod, you spoil the child. That could creep in and tilt the balance of what we consider corporal punishment, and that's thin line between corporal punishment and abusing the child.
But then again, Ricardo, you would have parent groups, you would have education, you would have groups like Jam Psych, you would have religious groups as well, and I think we would really find a balance there.
And you believe the religious groups would give enough room for that balance to be struck?
I think I heard, was it on Nationwide? I think it was Nationwide early on. Was it this morning or so?
Yes.
There was a pastor there giving his views. Was it this morning? Right?
Yes, it was this morning.
Views, right. So I think we really can find a balance somewhere there.
In terms of the negative impacts now, and long-term, specifically long-term impacts, because there's this conversation that me get beaten when me did little, and I turned out well. You know, yes. That's the prevailing, right? The prevailing view is that I get beaten and me turn out well, and so it's almost taken as given that the child should be beaten, and it's not a problem as the experts are making it out to be.
Really?
What are you seeing from the studies?
From the studies, Ricardo, there are positive impacts as well as negative impacts. Do not ask me which outweigh the other, but I can put them to you.
Yes.
Because what happens is that long-lasting physical and mental harm happens when, that's a negative side of corporal punishment. Also, what we are seeing in our schools research has shown that corporal punishment promotes unsafe and violent schools, or creates unsafe and violent schools. Also, it impacts students or children's learning. We've heard of children who do not perform well in schools academically, and harsh physical punishments have been blamed for this. On the positive side, well, corporal punishment definitely sets boundaries and motivates children how to behave in school, right? And it is appropriate discipline for certain children when used in moderation. And I say used in moderation. I was listening earlier on, and I think it was Robian who had asked for public opinion.
Yes.
And it was rather mixed, right? And so, yes, when you talk about, well, I've gotten beaten and it never killed me. So, if it is used in moderation, because evidence shows that prolonged and excessive use of corporal punishment definitely has side effects. So, yes, so I've placed the positive and the negative before you. But one needs to also consider that an inherent risk of escalation may occur where corporal punishment is exercised.
Those will be the negative effects, or?
The inherent risk of escalation is a negative. So, so whatever, when we talk about moderation, and again, we, as the question was asked earlier, right, how do we get that definition of corporal punishment? And I do think we have a very long road, because corporal punishment is a cultural thing with us, right? And as the minister had said, we have to change culture, and you know how difficult that can be. So when we talk about moderation, what is moderation? From whose point is moderation? So a whole lot of things we really will have to look at when we are looking at banning corporal punishment in all settings. The first thing I think we need to do is to look at the definition, or redefine corporal punishment to suit our society, or to suit us.
Since the debate has surfaced again, not for the first time, I would like us to spend some time thinking about the how. How we can all agree that we have a problem with violence in this country.
Yeah.
We were born into and bred with violence. We came here in a violent way, and we were subjugated, enslaved, and kept under control with violence. Everything we do is permeated virtually with violence in Jamaica. Or language, not only the physical act, yes? When you look at the Jamaican choice words, it's blood, and
the music is violent.
The music, we normalize violence, and sometimes you don't even recognize it. Yeah, you're enjoying yourself, and you're boss a shot. That is violent. Yeah. So the question I'm trying to get from you, Miss Mackenzie, the how. How do we say to ourselves, listener, this is where we are, and we have to pull back? How?
Boy, Piff, that's $1 million question that you have asked. Because violence, as you have said, is inbred. It is something that it is the reworking of the whole psyche. It will have to be every hand on deck. It will have to be, I don't know how we are going to do it, because it's a whole generational thing. And if we start now, Cliff, the fruits of our labor we will see the fruits of our labor many years from now. It's not an overnight thing.
Yes.
And so we really have to start now. We have to start in our schools. It is that, we all have to relearn.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a long walk, but they say, 1,000 miles begin with
the first step.
One single step, yes. And we have to recognize things for what they are, and a lot of changes. Individuals, civil societies, schools, other organizations, we all have to, play our part.
And that means we have to somehow make our people more aware of how that culture, that history of violence is impacting how we treat each other now.
Yes.
Yeah? And this is where I said this morning that for Mr. Chuck to come and say, listen, ban corporal punishment now in homes, that's not where to start. That's not where to start.
No. I quite agree with you. That's not where to start. That is, we have grown up and this is what we have seen, and we will have the critics. Yes, corporal punishment, we say if we do ban it, this will happen. We'll have a less violent society. But when I do look at Sweden, that banned corporal punishment in our settings since 1979, and I was reading something on Sweden that I think last November they said that it was the fourth, with gang violence, something like that. It was the fourth in Europe. The fourth highest in Europe. And then you would think that if corporal punishment was banned from so long, why would this now be? So, we have to go back to the table. We have to look into ourselves as a people, as a nation, as a country. And, and we continue to hear, this is where we've gone wrong, this is where we've gone wrong, but what have we been doing about it?
Yes. And one of the areas, one of the spaces we'll have to seriously take a look at is the church.
Yes.
You look at some of those messages, some of those sermons, and you listen to the language.
Yes.
The invoking of certain
damnation, yes, and certain things. But as you've said, our very words, Cliff. And we're celebrating, but we are still using very aggressive language.
Yes.
We are praising and we're using very aggressive language.
Miss Mackenzie, you talked about the importance of crafting a response that takes into account our cultural realities. And I quite agree with you, because I don't want it lost in this discussion that the pit name nowadays is bad.
Yeah.
I know you're going to tell me that that has always existed, Cliff. I see you're ready for me. But let us be realistic about the problem that we face in this country. The videos we see, the challenging to authority in schools. That seems hold on.
Them nowadays bad is no different from the
I don't know if that's
what happened.
There was respect for authority.
Amplify
there was respect for authority in your time.
Yes.
That is eroded completely.
But that don't mean that the pick them in our time never bad.
What kept them in line? What kept them in line? So I want us to just appreciate where we are now as a society, and as you said, craft a response that takes that into account, because I think that's important. I don't want us to have this discussion in isolation. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Which is true, Ricardo. And yes, when we talk about the people them bad, sometimes it's misunderstanding these children, Ricardo.
I concede that.
Sometimes they have an underlying issue, and it's a neurodevelopmental problem, whatever it is. But we are not looking at that, right? We are looking at the bad, and sometimes you know what? As a parent ourselves, sometimes we are not prepared for parenting.
Which is
Right?
part of the
Major part of the
problem. Precisely.
Major part
And
of the
then they are
problem.
let loose on the society for other people to find solutions. I agree.
Fantastic.
I agree.
Because, days gone by, it used to be a village that grows a child.
That's
And,
gone now.
I was
Village
also
burned down
sharing
long
my
time.
experience that, boy, as a parent, you need someone to be there to say, okay, because as parents, you can get frustrated. You will be frustrated. So you need somebody, a grandma, or to say, okay, go out there and cool off. I will take the child. Don't bother say anything.
Yes.
Right? But nowadays, no, don't let me pick me. Do whatever. And and the parents really, they do need help at times. And so what you find out when we talk about corporal punishment and the sort of corporal punishment which is exercised in our society, it's one of anger.
Yes.
We are
Yes,
angry,
yes.
so we just throw a
Frustrations
stone
are,
or
yes,
or a
that's true.
broom. Right,
That's true.
yeah.
For
we are
example,
very much
on our
frustrated.
on our YouTube platform, Marquis
Yes.
Alfonso says, yes, Ricardo, they must get backsiding when they get fresh. No, you tell me. You say we normalize the violence?
But you see, and another
what do you
point-
mean by them get fresh?
Another
So they
point-
must get
But
backsiding.
another point was raised about how
Oh, no.
the respect for authority used to keep you all in line in your time. Yes? And that was because you had teachers who perhaps earned the respect true. But again...
And they were some of the worst abusers.
And you know what? We need to have a
Yes.
session for Cliff
Yes.
because Cliff is suffering from PTSD from Chatola Park Primary.
Oh.
And we have a session for him. But but seriously though, I agree. The response has to be crafted to take into account or lived reality in this country. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can
Yes. We cannot
say it's true, sir. I'm telling you.
Stop saying
the
that.
things I see now, I could dream of doing when I was a child.
Yes. But then
Somebody who is 6 years old.
About social media, you're not thinking of the part that social media is currently playing.
And that's
It-
part
it
of
is
what's
playing a
socializing.
major
And that's
role.
part of what's
Yeah.
socializing them, indeed.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Bad.
Them are inherently bad. Now, picking a Barna Jubilee or St. Anne's Bay Hospital, inherently bad.
I hear you.
And the society, the space, the environment that they are raised.
And that's
But that's not that alone. We influence our environment, and our environment influences us.
Well, we the adults, because we were victims, yeah?
Yes.
We were given the kind of backsiding that Marquis Alfonso wants to do. Yeah? Yeah? And the picking them learn that. The children live what they learn.
They're fresh.
I agree. Fresh because they can tell you that, listen,
fresh.
you are wrong because
No,
of so and so.
no. That's a different thing. No.
What
No, that's a
them
different
fresh?
thing. Allowing a child to express of your opinion is
Yes.
fine. It's when that it crosses the line. Somebody who is 6 years old tell you about your mother.
No,
And-
that is not being fresh. That is
But
not.
I think
that
that's,
is not.
no, I
being
think
fresh.
that's what the YouTube I speak
No,
about.
no.
They're disrespectful.
No.
Being fresh is being disrespectful.
Fresh means that they are bright and they can challenge you.
No, me no know about that.
Plus,
Yeah?
if I might say as well, when you look at when as kids and they're all playing Dolly House, they take the belt or the shoes and they beat the flowers.
Yeah. Oh Lord, they
They
do.
beat the leaves and the
Yes.
petals of these plants.
Beat the wall. Yes.
And right.
And they usually say when they're doing it, they say, "Where's your homework?" Which tells you they learned it at school.
Right.
Yes.
So, and even, and sometimes they say what mommy says.
Yes.
Did you do this? Did you
Yes.
pick up that?
Yes.
Did you? And
Yes.
so you see people where we're coming from, and you see how we express ourselves, and it's really a cycle, a cycle that continues.
Here's a comment from a prep school teacher. She says, "Taught my friend, them fresh. My friend have grade 2 children at primary school telling her about her mother."
That is not being fresh.
Out of order.
That is being out of order. That is being rude. Yes, that's a big
there
difference.
is something that I continue to say. These little children, they are the adults of tomorrow. They are the mothers and fathers of tomorrow. So if they are not corrected, you can understand the cycle continues.
Yes. Well. Let us go about it in a way that is not going to be divisive. Yeah, and have us retreating behind our ideas as to what is right and what is in the Bible from what is not in the Bible.
Not in the Bible.
Yes. Let us approach it in a way that says, listen, we have a common problem. And it is killing us, literally killing us. Yeah? And we have to approach it in a multidimensional way. It can't be just parents, it can't be just schools. It must be all hands on board. And we have to teach. We have to teach. How did we get here? How? Yeah? Just think about it. When the first slave ship come from West Africa, yeah? Violent.
And the violence.
And then bring we come here, and we have to endure under the and you know, if you know from a history, our foreparents, our forefathers, were the most rebellious, you know.
Yes,
I
think they said the most rebellious slaves
were in Jamaica.
Yes.
We fought.
Yes.
We fought, right?
Yeah.
Think of Taki the chieftain. Yes, we did.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have to contextualize it and teach it so people understand.
Yes.
Like, listen, we now have to pull back. We're a society. We're a nation. Yeah? We have to try and shed it. And it not going to happen in 2 years. It'll probably take with 20, 30 years.
It will. Because it didn't take us a year or two to get us where we are.
It took us hundreds of years.
Undo, right? And so to undo. So it might never happen in my lifetime or yours. But if we start planting the seeds now, it will germinate.
Yes.
And those who are coming behind us, if they just continue to water it, then we'll get a beautiful flower at the end of the day.
Yes.
Agreed, Miss Mackenzie. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you too. It was my pleasure.
Same here, Miss Mackenzie.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Valerie Mackenzie is Director of Advocacy at the Jamaica Psychological Society. You can stay there. You can stay there. Take them pitney lightly.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. But you have to make the distinction between the attitude, the thinking that says them a picnic worse than our time. That is not true. Every child born, whether Jubilee or Yui, them not born with nothing inherently worse than you or me. It is their environment, their socialization. Yes. What them grow up and see from them catch 10 months and 11 months. Boy, come here. Me not tell you say nothing, do that. Bam. Yes.
I hear you.
That is what we need. We need to make those who are having children shouldn't have no business having picnic.
David, no picnic in a room in my house.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what does that mean? You are going to raise a child in a way, in a manner that says, listen, you're not to do that. And if you do that, this is what is going to happen.
They're going to spank you.
You don't have to begin there.
But you agree that we may have to end there?
You may.
Okay.
You may.
Okay, all right.
But the first thing you need to begin with is not an attitude that says, picnic, me box you down, All
right, well, I can agree with that.
And we have too much of that. Too much of that.
Very well. 630-937-124, 618-8255. Those are the numbers to call. Soon come.
Chewy flavor with delight. It really, really nice. May I say it twice.
The time by Jamaica Mountain Peak Golden Turmeric Latte is
13 minutes after 7.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Welcome deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top.
So crisp, so light, so buttery.
When you're good, you're just good. Hey, had the national flavor. You go off and buy this pack. So good, it's just so good. Welcome deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top.
So crisp, so light, so buttery.
National Baking Company, just so good.
The Watchman, exploring issues shaping our society, government and business. Provocative, unconventional, Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. The missing P in Jamaica's economic growth strategy. Don Robotham is a development economist, sociologist, and anthropologist who has dedicated his illustrious career at the University of the West Indies and with prestigious institutions of higher learning abroad to finding answers to the thorny issues standing in the way of countries like Jamaica escaping the resource-rich but revenue-poor trap. He writes insightfully in the March 17, 2024 Sunday Gleaner in a column titled, "Is the issue simply productivity?" I quote in part, "The debate about the failings of the Jamaican economy has largely focused on productivity. The argument has been that our productivity is low, and the task is to increase productivity. But is low productivity the core issue? The answer is no. The core issue for the Jamaican economy is that we remain a low value added economy, exporting largely raw materials and raw services. Because we are a low tech economy, we are also a low wage economy." End of quote from Don Robotham's recent column in the Sunday Gleaner. With due respect, I think the learned gentleman is splitting hairs, confusing causes with effects. One does not have to diminish the central role of productivity to elevate the importance of computer literacy and other qualifications associated with economic complexity, without which the ability of a country to produce value-added goods and services for export is seriously impaired. There are several words, beginning with the letter P, that are associated with Jamaica's economic fortunes or lack thereof. P for prosperity, P for products, P for prices, P for people, P for plant, like in a factory, P for production, P for productivity. Productivity is the least understood and appreciated, not just among shop floor workers, but among policymakers like politicians, and even among university graduates on management teams of companies in the productive sector. I call it the missing P. In his column, Robotham was careful to support his view with data from Harvard Economic Complexity Study, which reveals that between 2010 and 2021, Jamaica slipped significantly in its ability to produce value-added products and services for export as measured by this index. He overlooked data from the Jamaica Productivity Center, which shows that for the 42 years period, 1976 to 2017, average labor productivity growth in Jamaica averaged negative 0.61% annually. June 20, 2024 will be celebrated as World Productivity Day. A 3-day summit beginning June 20th will be convened at the University of Technology to discuss strategies to drive productivity. One hopes the right balance will be struck between cause and effect in the productivity equation. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
Invest in Jamaica and make your money grow. Invest in Mayberry Jamaican Equities Bond, a safe and purposeful way to invest. How? We carefully invest your funds in top local companies, empowering you to profit from multiple businesses, not just one. With a minimum investment of just $20,000 and an interest rate of up to 10.5% per annum, it's more than just growth. It's profit with purpose. Discover more at www.profitwithpurposeja.com or contact your investment advisor for full details. Profit with purpose. Invest with Mayberry.
More savings, more choices.
It's time for Active Home Center's anniversary sale. Celebrate another great year with big anniversary sale savings. Get up to 40% off selected windows, doors, furniture, tiles, and so much more. Get these great sale prices now through Wednesday, May 29th. See you soon in our Kingston and Montego Bay locations. Conditions apply. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
Fast, friendly service? Check. Delicious chicken? Check. Get Quick Chick. Available at Grants Pen and Halfway Tree. Great taste without the wait. The time by Quick Chick is
21 minutes after 7.
The mission of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs includes revising Jamaica's legal and constitutional infrastructure and accelerating the pace of reform. The time by the MLCA is...
It's 32 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 31 here in Kingston. It's time for you to have your say. The numbers to call 630-937-124, 618-8255.
Richard, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Richard.
Mr. Hughes, one of my neighbors said to me once, he have a 13-year-old granddaughter who he has been taking care of her from she's a baby until she reached that age. And she was flipping up on him and he said, give her a box. She drop her ground, you know. And he said, Mexico will put to the police that the first thing he would tell the police that me are protecting for you to shoot him tomorrow. So this is some of the mentality that some poor people have, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen a case where a 10-month-old baby was so frustrated he slapped the man in her face. I'm saying, my word, you know. But, you know, one have to understand how to deal with these situations and not to let it get out of hand, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can easily get out of hand.
Yeah.
Now, so it's my concern here, sir, the constitutional reform that they're looking about now. Why are they not willing to put the executive president and the ceremonial in a referendum?
Because there's consensus on that. There's consensus.
But what about the people? Don't we have a choice?
Yes, and the people's representatives, have found common ground on that.
Yes, but they do not work in our best interest all the time.
No, they don't. Yeah, all the time. But the matter of whether the president should be executive or ceremonial started out being contentious. Consensus wasn't arrived at overnight, sir. Yes? But they have now arrived at consensus, and we have more than enough contentious matters, to detain us.
I understood, but I am not in agreement with a figurehead president. We could use the Chief Justice to do ceremonial services and save that money.
The Chief Justice, you don't want to burden the Chief Justice with that. Chief
But
Justice
it's
have
not-
to try
it's not everyday
cases
thing, sir.
and run the judiciary.
Also remember, having an executive president would mean a complete change in the system of government.
Mhm.
So it wouldn't just be a simple matter of putting it to a referendum and then changing it. You'd essentially have to change the entire system of government.
No, but we're not going to use the same democracy system. No, we can use the same Westminster system on the executive president.
So you just topped an executive president on that. So then you'd have to consider things like, would the cabinet still be chosen from the parliament? Would the president choose the cabinet from outside? What would be the role of the prime minister in that system? Would
No,
you
I don't
still
want the
need
prime
a?
minister.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So you'd have to make other changes. It wouldn't just be, having an executive president and then that's the end of the matter.
Because I do not want the MP to become a minister.
Okay. So you don't want a complete overhaul of the system.
You want a complete separation.
Very much.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
But you know the history of that.
Yes.
You know the history of that in terms
but
of
checks and balances must put in place.
Yes, but even with those checks and balances, look at what's happening in the United States of America.
Can lead to gridlock, serious gridlock.
Has led to gridlock. Look at what has happened in Latin America, South America.
Dictators arise.
Dictators
Yes.
and the place with a whole lot of coups in Africa.
In several African countries,
Yes.
indeed, yes.
Yeah. The record of that U.S. presidential system is not good, sir.
But if we look at
And is under strain currently in the United States itself.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that those guardrails that constrain the office of the president,
dear.
they are being severely tested.
Yes.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, so we have to be careful about it. But I hear you though, because I think it was Bruce Golding, right, who
really
pushed that idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if we look at electing senators, that can have a gridlock also, because if one side have the opposition, let's say, got more Senate in the House, would it be a problem?
It would, if conceivably, if one party controls the House and another controls the Senate, yes, that could lead to gridlock. Yes.
I don't see the need for 42 senators.
The CRC did not accept that recommendation.
Anyway, gentlemen, Mr. Hughes, I enjoy listening to your program, and today and last Thursday, you're right on spot. You're in the middle of the road. A lot of my friends telling me you're missing the middle of the road now,
So me do what?
You're not in the middle of the road anymore.
Oh?
A lot of people saying that.
Well, I don't know, sir. Today I'm not in the middle of the road. Tomorrow I'm left. Tomorrow I'm right. Because
That's the perception I hear with people.
Very well. Very well.
But Thursday, I
You
was
just talk with
impressed
upon my
to get
mind at home, is eating us, sir.
All right, my respect, gentlemen.
All right. Richie, good evening.
Good evening, Master.
What's up?
Adios.
Yes, sir.
You see the murderation that we used to get in our days as children?
Mm-hmm.
Long past. I can remember when we went to school, I was going to school, you have to make sure say we pass through the school gate before the bell ring. Because if we don't pass through the school gate before the bell ring, the teacher at the school gate within cane. And the worst part about it, we can't go back home now. Because we go back home a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That was something that I experienced, which was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Teacher no run for me to the cane, and then when some the cane, then they could feel say we get in touch, then they could like them what to kill with the cane.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back in those days again, it was the days when you take a village to raise a child, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
But me can't forget a man in the community the big men then give me a name called him Buckle Shake and all that on a donkey. Because him because him too knock. And me go make me always come with the man. And the man make a complaint to mother. She tell him say, anytime me call him so, he to beat me. But call the man so one day though, and the man run me down and catch me. And drop me one piece when I was bush and pick up a piece of goat stick. You know goaty?
No.
The people, one goaty where the rasta man use it and cut it, pick is a fruit. No, it's not a fruit, not even call it. But then cut and dig out the bill and eat out of it.
And that them called calabash?
Calabash.
Yes, same one.
Uh-huh.
And the man drive me down the bush, and pick a piece of it. And the stick rough, I want with a bump. And the two first little man give me with it, he broke, And the man drive me back down there and put a bigger piece, and the man beat me and nearly kill me. You think me could have go and go talk? If me go and go talk, me get one more. You understand me say? Those days are long over. Then gone. But right now, I'm encouraging parents to keep a strap. You see when the people draw the line, 1, 2 time I talk with them, 2 touch. I see next time, it looks will be good enough. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing they can hurt them or touch them. You punish them this way, it can hurt them, but that one is the one that I recommend. But you know the problem that they use? Everybody? You see this generation? My mother used to call me generation of vipers. No, yes, we are generation of vipers, And she passed on over 20 years now, and at one point I used to say, I would glad for her to be here to see this generation. Next time I said, Mr. McDowell said, you see this generation is a generation by themselves. When we say this generation is the Bible tell about them, I know she with it, but when we read the Bible talk about it. It talk about again, it talk about the 3rd and the 4th generation. You see this generation or the 4th generation, there is nothing left for them to know, there is nothing left for them to do. This generation is sin causes them people reach us.
Signs and wonders. You will see signs and wonders.
Then the Bible tell about the earthquake and the wars and anything there.
Absolutely, Richie.
We tell about anything there. This generation, we don't know where. I understand the government have a problem. The government have a big problem that will not resolve because them people themselves was school. I don't see what they're going to do to contain them. Can't control them because the main thing is coming from the yard. Parenting is the problem. You understand me say? Me not see where them about to contain them. These little people here, me say man, me down this road and me keep listening to them and turn. Something where you little people and talk, man. You have to wonder, Some things that you little people and do. You have to wonder.
All right, Richie.
Let me say? Anyway, you want to take care.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah. I have a message here. Somebody says, I was regularly caned from 1st to 3rd form at KC. It did nothing to alter my behavior. 630-9371-4 618-8255. Those are the numbers to call. Sophia, good evening.
Hi, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing well. Well, I felt I had to call this evening.
Yes.
I rarely depart from Cliff's position on a matter, but tonight I really have to depart.
Tell him that he's
I
wrong.
don't
Tell him
know
he's wrong.
that. I don't know if Cliff is interacting with the young people.
Tell him
that
for
we
me,
have
so.
in this
Tell him
society
for me.
today.
Tell him for me.
As a young girl who probably wanted to have my boyfriend, I would never dare hold my boyfriend hand in public or be publicly kissing him with adults around. And if an adult spoke to me, I would dress up quickly what I'm doing and move on. This generation, they're doing it in front of you, and you dare not correct them. You dare not correct them. They're going to the string of bad word that is going to come to you from these young persons.
Quite
they're
right.
disrespectful, and I can't say.
And where did they learn that? Who did they learn that from?
So let us take it there now. So I agree with you on a little bit, Cliff, that society has to take a lot of the blame for the product of the child that we're having. One of the things I reflected on as the discussion went on is what we have normalized in our society. Our norms and values have changed. I've reflected on the dancehall music, on the dancehall culture that has normalized vulgarity and rudeness in our society. We have embraced dancehall, and we have not been able to deal with the consequences of dancehall. When I reflect back on songs like me have my gun pan me and me nah let it go, and me have the permit to bury and the license to kill, and all of us put up our gun finger and we embrace those things. These are the
and then we turn around and say the pick them.
No, but is dancehall the root cause though?
Dancehall is part of the issue. When a whole a society, both intellectual and who we would define as non-intellectual, is lambasting and depressed over the fact that one of the main proponents of dancehall that normalize sexual lewdness in his songs and in his behavior, a person that our young people idolize and they are now acting out. He's someone that is revered in our society, held in high esteem. And so we have normalized certain things in our society. Our children are now just living out. I happen to be in a ghetto era because for various reasons. And when you see that they put out those the box and the skin out songs and adult dancing with children and they encouraging the kids to come wine up, man.
No, you're talking.
We have normalized some things in our society. So in that regard, please, I agree with you that as a people, we have to reflect on the things that we have been lauding and, putting forward as normal and as acceptable. We can't want to decrease violence, but yet all of us, both intellectual, people in high position, low position in the dance hall, kick off gun finger when certain songs come off. But then we want to talk about violence in our society. And it's the same thing when we talk some songs that are being played, but skin out this and tear out this and bend down and bubble part.
And Sophia,
with our kids, we normalize it, but then we want our kids to behave differently.
And Sophia, you have come full circle to my point.
I have.
Yes.
Probably have.
Because as I said to Ricardo, no child born at Jubilee or wherever is born with this, what you call it, the worst set of inherent vipers. No child is born with this maladaptive trait or whatever. It's what we teach them. Is what we teach
in that regard,
them.
I really cannot disagree because I was not exposed to the things that these kids are exposed to.
But
and as it comes to the internet, oh my God.
Exactly. But it is easy to say them are the worst set. Yes.
Because I look like I've been dragged over to click.
No, don't make him, tell him wrong.
But please, I'm telling you, it's almost scary to interact with them.
Yes.
It really is. The intensity, the anger, the complete disregard for authority, and they are bold, they are not afraid. They take you on.
Yes.
And they'll do anything in front of you. But I have to say, Ricardo, it is the society that we have it's what we have become as a society. It's what we have normalized, it's what we have embraced, and it's what they are growing up now to see the shutter driver. We laud certain behaviors in this society now, and it's now coming back to bite us.
Yes.
It's coming back to bite us, and if we don't go to all the roots, not just the parenting, but the music, our norms and values, then we're going to continue to grapple with these things.
Yes.
People, I don't know, finally I say this. I was saying to some young people the other day, remember Shaka Zulu?
Yes.
I remember when that movie came on TV and the little old lady came with her breasts, and the whole of was shocked because that was the first kind of nakedness we were seeing on TV.
Yes.
And I remember in the 1992 gas riot. I don't remember the year.
92.
And the lady came on in our brassiere and she demonstrated. And again, we were all shocked to see a lady in her brassiere on TV because we were not used to nakedness on TV.
Yes.
No, every dancehall music video. When the first time I saw that video, I don't know if I can call it now, Gala Bubble, and I saw the lewdness and the dancing. I said to my friends, I saw that video on TV, Jay. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I must.
In my days as a child, you would have to go search deep to find that video.
Yesterday afternoon, I was in Portland. Yes? And in the vicinity, I think it's Manchonil I was. And I passed a group of young men and women. And a young woman heavily pregnant, was standing there. And all that was covered were her breasts, and she had on one shorts. Her pregnant belly was nothing covered. And I was like, what the hell?
Exactly.
Heavily pregnant, and all that was covered, her breasts and her whatever down there. Nothing else. Her big belly.
Look at that.
Her big belly, was totally uncovered. I've never seen that. I've never seen that in my time in Jamaica.
Exactly. And someone will tell you.
And she was on the roadside as if nothing happened. And everybody was having a good time.
So as we are discussing this thing about our children and what needs to be done, we have to look at ourselves as a society. Parenting is one, but just what we have become. Have you, even in going to the hotels recently, I was telling someone, when I was a young person, I went to the hotel. The persons who worked there, they were so polite. No, if you have gone to an hotel, they're cussing over the food. They talk to you anyway. They're just loud and vulgar. And I'm saying, what has happened to us as a people?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what our children are learning and seeing. And I go back, dancehall was a big part of what changed us as a people.
All right.
Because we normalized
not only dancehall,
it, and now these things are coming
Not
back.
only dancehall. Yes? Not only dancehall, ma'am. No, not at all.
It's a part of it, a big part.
Yes, it may have played a part, but not the only thing.
A big part.
Mm.
All right, Sophia,
But
thanks
thank
for the
you
call.
for listening.
No problem.
Thank you for the call, Sophia.
And just a correction,
All right,
the
good,
gas
good.
riots were in 1999, because I remember them.
99, not 92.
Because I remember them.
99, yes. Mm-hmm.
Val, good evening.
Val.
Good evening. Yeah, Val, good evening. First time caller, you know.
Yes.
I think Sophia licked the hammer straight for the nail head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to go on school name, it's a hun, a girl in street. See that man? Anybody who not come out good, that's all. Them born for not come out good.
Why you say that?
Because Mr. Hunt is a man. Anything wrong you do, that's all. As small as he is, man. I'm sure they look a cane. And for you see that cane, you have to do your work.
Mm.
What am I say? You have to do your work. We are going in this society. If you watch the 82 bus, them are run for weight name. The music, them way you hear night. You can't be say, it's a big man that drive the bus, and it's a big man that conduct it.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Party are keeping it. Them things that make people out of hand, man. Different way.
Mm.
You see him say, youth?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. We know you hear it, you know.
Mm.
The constant spring coast of them.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, man, them disgraceful.
Mm-hmm.
You have to wonder if a big people or a school picnic drive the bus.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I can't big people are driving.
Mm-hmm. And that's
Cannot big people.
that's
them
one of the
thing that get picnic out of hand.
we
Them listen
teach
to
we teach the children these things.
Right.
And then we
them
expect
learn
them
what
to
we hear.
behave differently? No.
Definitely.
No.
Definitely.
Mm-mm.
You
Ah.
see, so the police them have to do them work. The government have to do them work. But me not believe say.
The parents have to do them work.
Yeah, the parents have to do all that because what you
The
you can't
adults.
send a good, yeah, you can't send a good picnic. When I listen to them the tune there. As them go to school, like you know, people pick them and them jump in a bus and hear them tune there.
Mm-hmm.
Then they do a lot. Them do a lot, Mr. Youth.
Yeah.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to fight them the thing there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. You have to call it as how it is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to call it as how it is.
Yep.
That's a going in a street Jamaica.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right,
For
sir.
real.
Thank you for
Yeah,
the call.
Yeah,
All
welcome,
right, Val.
sir. Yeah.
Leroy, you're up next. Good evening.
Oh, evening. Are you?
Good evening.
second time and you ready, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There one slogan in our nation. Come every nation under creation. Come to nationwide to the God of creation. You like his slogan?
I'm not sure.
Let me hear it again.
Come every nation under creation. Come to nationwide to the God of creation. Because you, I just want to touch the Mr. Holness and the opposition. The opposition must remember that Mr. Holness is Prime Minister and him the Prime Minister. And him have to be respected. In respect Mr. Holness, in respecting office. If he can't respect him, he can't respect the office. And if he get the office, he never can respect it because he don't respect who in it. He have to know that Mr. Holness is the Prime Minister and he's Prime Minister. And no matter what problem, you see him now fight, he might fight with Mr. Holness out of the office. That's man. But he can't work so. He must sit down with Mr. Holness and Mr. Holness tell him what to do and he agree with it.
You're talking about the Prime Minister. You're talking about Prime Minister Holness.
Right.
Okay.
And Mr. Mark Golden.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's Holness here. Holness.
Yeah, man. I think I tell you, you go remind me. All right. Look here. You have a three-letter word named S-I-N.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible said sin is a reproach to any person. Sin attack anybody. Sin can knife, it can gun, it can boom. It can all kind of way. Sin is afraid to attack nobody. At the mash up community, mash up a young girl, mash up young boy, mash up a home, mash up wife and husband, mash up sin, mash up everything. But righteousness exalts a nation. You see, if we practice righteousness, sin have to stay put, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sin have to stay put. Anyway, we practice righteousness. God have to come down as a man in the person of Jesus Christ. He come rescue us from sin. And you know the amount of things we attack him: sin, death, the grave, the devil, hell, the religious world, the Pharisees.
Mm-hmm.
And he must use righteous and the law, and he must use righteousness and overcome them. So he leave righteousness forward because no, they are doing that work, you know. We are no matter. But as long as, look here, when you spell sin, you know, and you take iota sin, and the sin again, you know.
Oh, what?
You know that?
Is what?
And when you spell sin, and you take iota sin, and the sin again, you know.
Uh-huh.
Essen?
Where you say Essen?
S-N.
S-N.
When you spell S-I-N,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you take the iota sin.
Left with the S-N.
S-N left, so it now have no power. But as long as the man remain in sin, it has power.
Oh.
Sin never have no power back there over God.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was righteous.
Yes.
So if we practice righteousness, we can overcome it. And the Bible said the aged man and aged woman must teach the younger to be sober.
All right, Leroy. Thanks for the call.
All right.
Yeah, man. Have a good one.
Again, yeah?
All right.
Thank you.
Carl, good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. Evening, Sayu.
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Carl. Carl.
Mr. Hughes.
Mr.
Nice
Carl.
Interview. Good interview this evening with Mr. Dabdo. Very good interview.
I'm afraid when me hear you say that, you know.
Mr. Hughes, I make things look so bad, man.
No, but when you say very good interview, that means something all right, yes or no?
Anyhow, Mr. Hughes, did you listen this morning for the early shift with the big show?
Not a big show.
Where the pastor hang up the phone.
Yes, I heard it.
Okay. Congratulations, Pastor. You're doing very well. That's why people hardly want to go to church.
Oh, you get to that.
Oh, a pastor hung up on them this morning?
Yes.
That's the very reason why people won't hardly want to go
No,
to
Ricardo.
church.
None of that why people don't want
Why you
to
keep
church.
calling me Ricardo this evening?
Oh, Lord, I don't know. None of that why people.
Anyhow, Mr. Hughes, interested time is around. Interested time is around. Very interested time.
What is interesting about the time?
And I'm happy to know that my member of parliament, Colonel Charles Jr., whenever send it to parliament, you just sit and warm a bench, boy. I like your questioning that you asked this evening. But two you left out. You should have asked the gentleman, because Mr. Hughes, I'm going to tell you something. Put your foot by your brake. I heard you saying more than one time that Mr. Golding born here. Put your foot by your brake. Put your foot by your brake. Be careful, you have to go apologize. Careful.
Mr. Golding was born in Jamaica.
We say
at the University Hospital of the West Indies.
Put your foot by your brake. Be careful.
Carl, Mr. Golding was born in Jamaica at the University Hospital of the West Indies.
Ricardo. All right, you put your foot by. And the next one I want to ask you, Pastor, I know other people are asking. Mr. Golding renewing in British passport 3 times. What was in a hit for him? Him do it 3 times and he never interested in a one in a Jamaica. What benefit is in getting from England? Those are the questions that need to be started asked.
The benefits would be that according to a citizen of the United Kingdom.
Yes, I think it's the 3rd or 4th most powerful passport in the world.
Yes.
And I heard Mr. Charles ask this evening, if he have that type of passport, he doesn't need a visa, a US visa.
Yes, he wouldn't need
one.
I would agree that part needs clarification. Because Mr. Golding did say he had to apply for a UK visa.
Thank you very much. And all of a sudden, what happened to all the human rights, Mr. Hughes?
Carl, we talked about this already.
No, man, we can't.
We talked about this already.
Ricardo.
What do you want the human rights organizations to say about a matter of immigration law? What do you want them to say about that?
Ricardo, you're there on long enough, no, Ricardo. And you hear those people. If I did something to do with the Jamaica Labour Party, when the Prime Minister don't have nothing to do with it, then I call for him to step aside. And I heard Judge Davis read something this morning concerning the Integrity Commission. He declared after the Prime Minister started decoration for about 3 years straight. And I agree with George, and I agree with you, Mr. Hughes. And you hear me say it on radio. The Prime Minister needs to put on some pressure upon those people. The Prime Minister needs to get 5 or 6 lawyers to write that body. He cannot have this thing floating around for almost a full year now. We have to be fair.
More than a year, sir.
Or more than a year.
Going more than 2 years.
6 lawyers to write this body and give them 7 days to respond to him. You don't need nobody to tell you that.
I don't know if that is in the remit of the Prime Minister. Yeah, that he can write to the Integrity Commission instructing them. I don't think that would be good governance. But I would think he could make a statement in the House, yes, asking for the Integrity Commission to give the people of Jamaica, through the Parliament, a report on the status of his declarations.
I agree with you. But he can't continue so, Mr. Hughes. Can't continue so. And we need full time now to hear about illicit 6 people I run up and down. All yesterday evening up a puppy in them, a chat one. I try to see if he can push back. You can't push back on this, so Mark.
But do you think, Carl, that the average Jamaican really cares about it as much as you loyal supporters?
You can't make man.
What gives you that confidence?
You turn anywhere on top of one bar or one barber shop, it'll discuss all around the place. Let me tell you something. What the people are very hurt about is how the opposition now they take Darrell Vaz to court. Up to yesterday, I was somewhere and hear somebody. I never even know say 80 million in the cost the time. And I heard me have a comrade, and the comrade say him is so disappointed that the PMP threw back election in our hand. I'm telling you, not throw back in our hand. No, me can discuss about the white and the black fully. Nobody can stop me from discuss it now. And Mr. Golin throwing hand himself right in my hand. Because Mr. Hughes, if Mr. Golin never pen up in a one corner, he wouldn't declare him as a citizen of the British.
And how that become white and black?
Then, Mr. Hughes, how it becomes, remember, say, Siago, no? They give away for him citizenship before he take up anything in a Jamaica.
That wasn't about Siaga's skin color.
TMT
That wasn't about the color of Siaga's skin.
Yeah, then I color then the Jews against Mr. Siago.
No.
You remember all what happened for Manchester? On Sunday evening? We don't talk show who was lady.
What was
Mr.
that?
Siago said the government is in a scandal. I do scandal like a scandal bag. And by the morning, the talk show was pin it and say Mr. Siago was out of order to call Jamaica people black scandal bag. And it never left Eddie Siago until he got in grave that then take all in property in a sentence.
No, that wasn't the reason why they didn't take away property. Why you always embellish things, Carl?
And embellish things. Mr.
Yes,
Hughes.
and that's not the
But
reason
Mr.
why they
Hughes,
took away
the
Enchanted
way they
Gardens.
deal with Mr. Siago.
But that was the reason why that happened, sir. Huh?
All right, why didn't he take away property?
Huh?
Why didn't he take away? Except he never declare in status or something like that.
No. That wasn't the reason. He ran into financial problems and in servicing the loans. Yes, it wasn't about anything to do with his politics.
And what Mr. Siago did say when I loan, Mr. Siago did say, if I get the loan, if you get one of the loan, because he tell the bank, so if you put all of them in a one or so, and the bank left out one. That was Mr. Siago's fault.
Anyhow, Carl.
By the way, tomorrow is the 28th of May. And it will mark 5 years since the passing of Edward Siaga in 2019.
Okay.
Yes, his birthday. Yeah, the 28th of May.
The man
died on
said
his birthday.
Ask the bank, Mr. Hughes, to put all of the loan them under one portfolio. And the bank left out one. And the PMP would have killed him with it. Or if he run a country and in my financial debt. You remember all of those things? We can't forget.
Yes.
Can't forget.
I'm not sure if all the specifics
So
are
now
correct.
that a man decides, say, he want to have two passports. He want a female black one and he want the white man one.
The passport blue. Goodbye, Carl. Reagan, you have 2 minutes.
After from November, I'm not here in the station. I call until a week. As a matter of fact, Mr. Hughes take me number and plan to call me until now. You know, but
Which party they Reagan?
Huh?
Where you say you're not hearing? Where?
I'm out in Westmoreland.
Oh, we're in Westmoreland.
So, White House Division for sure.
Yeah?
Okay.
Are you not hearing us in White House?
No, I'm hearing you, but I mean, from that time after conference, and I spoke to you. I didn't. I'm calling since then. I almost can tell you every month, but I don't know why my call weren't coming through. So I'm at a particular place now. I'm so surprised that one call I get you. So.
Oh, so it's not that you're not hearing, the call's not coming through.
The call not coming through.
Oh, okay.
Nationwide, perfect.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, well, in my 2 minutes, I probably will call back at the next time. But please, I'm for the second time I hear you. Why are you so much in defense the rudeness that dancehall had presented to Jamaicans, especially for me, maybe in the last.
I'm not defending dancehall. I'm defending.
Why you are so defensive when you come on?
No, it's.
And I was listening to the lady, and she didn't tell you that it's dancehall totally responsible. You know, she make it clear that dancehall is part of it. I believe 60%.
I don't know how you get to 60%. Yeah, but
Yes,
the point is, it's too convenient for us to put the blame all at the feet of dancehall, and I don't think that is so.
Well, I don't believe it's convenient. I don't believe to what goes on, as I said, in the last 20-25 years with these young artists and what they
started before
they put
then.
out there.
It started before then. It started before 20 years ago.
No, but I'm talking, Cliff, to the degree. That is what I'm saying. The degree that it reached in over that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
People play a blind eye to it and think that it maybe isn't anything. Maybe you is one of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Regan, we have to call us back out of time.
Yes, I'll try and call back and elaborate on it.
All right. Have a good evening.
All right. Well. That's how we're going to leave it for this evening. We want to say thanks to our callers, including Reagan, and of course our YouTubers, our WhatsAppers, our producer Dana Davey, our technical operator David McNeish. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Good night.
Is this real? Hey, Greg, come look at this. Oh my, it's happening. Mr. Daniels, the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger.
Sir, the clicks are off the charts.
Hello, sales? What's the emergency? 9,000 clicks in one day? 3,000 order? So how much we have left? What? I soon call you back. Mr. Nakamoto, it's Danny from Jamaica. I need 5,000 of the big ones. We're back in business.
Yes, sir. Arigato. Suene.
Amplify your brand. Let Nationwide 90 FM assist you in tapping into a captivated audience across our social media platforms. For more information, contact us at 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Businesses, companies, and entrepreneurs, let's supercharge your brand.
Back to life, back to reality.
Jamaica is fully open, business is back, and Nationwide 90 FM will put you on the right track. We've missed doing outside broadcasts with you, our valued clients. Let's partner again to bring your customers closer face to face. If your business needs a kickstart, pull or push, whether urban, rural, or deep in the bush. Give our sales team the dates and we'll give you the best rates. Nationwide 90 FM will take your goods and services to the world through our radio, YouTube, and Instagram channels. Let's bring back the buzz in your business. It's time to touch the road with our outside broadcasts, giving vibes and value to you, anywhere, anytime, day or night.
What's best for my business?
Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Jamaica, the MAJ Symposium 2024 returns from June 6 to 9. Join virtually for the first 3 days on Zoom, then convene at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on June 9. This year's theme, Resilience in Healthcare, a global imperative, promises to explore strategies in building an efficient and resilient healthcare system. Tune in to Nationwide at 5 on June 6 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for their public forum on cancer screening. The forum features expert insights, live streaming, and Twitter sessions, all in the name of healthcare. Visit majdoctors.com for registration details and be part of the movement towards a healthier, more resilient future. That's a live broadcast of the MAJ Symposium's public forum on cancer screening, June 6, during Nationwide at 5 from 6 to 8 p.m. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Medical Association of Jamaica.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM.
Is that really Cliff you started?
Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also, tune into the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Was Click News really talking like that?
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Listen to Nationwide 90 FM on 90.1,
90.3,
90.7,
90.9,
or visit our Flow channel on a 916. To our valued listeners, for questions, comments, or concerns about our programs, email us at programs@nationwidenewsnetwork.com.
Don't let poor vision hold your children back. IQ Optical gives complimentary standard reflection-free lenses to children and teachers until May 31. Conditions apply.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Marlon Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Listen to Nationwide 90 FM on 90.1,
90.3,
90.7,
90.9,
or visit our Flow channel on a 916. To our valued listeners, for questions, comments, or concerns about our programs, email us at programs@nationwidenewsnetwork.com.
The Olympic Games 2024 live from Paris in France, exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
The Jamaican star shines bright once again.